Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we have a special treat. We have Pokemoki in the house.
Hey, everyone.
It's a thrill to have you here, Pokey. And I'm just going to call you that because we're friends now, and I can use like a more friend name, and you can call me B. So you created Bug Beans back like shortly after Beanstalk was printed. This card, of course, very dear to my heart. I've gotten a lot of reps with this, and I love this. It's spawned an entire archetype. And at the time, people were playing 4 and 5 color Beanstalk lists because the obvious thing is, let's use Leyline Binding. Let's get access to all kinds of cards like Solitude, things like that also trigger it. And your thinking was, actually, let's focus it and let's add some tempo to it, and let's just make it a much simpler, more focused list so that you don't need a lot of mana to win, because you do need a lot of mana to win with the big beans, as I often call it, the 4 or 5 color. This is kind of like little beans, tempo beans.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, there's many ways you could build it, directions you could take, but I felt like the tempo aspects of like Wasteland and Daze were powerful. And then I think that with your mana slightly cleaner, you get to play Witherbloom Command, which I was finding tough to make work in like the 4 and 5 color builds. And I think this build is a little bit more synergy driven, where it's just like Murktide is really, really good in the stack just because when you're not playing Leyline Binding, your instant and sorcery count is higher. Command can mill more spells into your graveyard for Murktide. Cut, being a delve spell, can grow the Murktide. It's also a spell you can rebuy with Mystic Sanctuary, which is something you can't do with Leyline Binding. Just having good interaction that triggers beans that you can get back with Sanctuary, I felt was powerful. And so I kind of felt that this was the home for me. This was the way I wanted to build it, and I've been playing it ever since.
Awesome. And a few notes about your initial list that was a huge source of inspiration for me. And I know Punishing Waterfalls did several challenges, legacy challenges, with similar builds to what you've been playing. And a lot of people picked it up and they went even more in the tempo direction, adding like tons of stifles and going all the way up to 4 Wasteland. But you were never, my understanding is you were never really like, this is a tempo deck. You were like, let's harness some of the tempo tools and let's still play as a control deck. Is that accurate?
I would say that's pretty accurate. I think if you compare it to something like Delver, you don't have many great 1 mana plays. Most of your important threats and spells cost 2 mana. And so, I think the way I think about it is Wasteland and Daze are tools in this deck. It's not your main game plan. Whereas in a deck like Delver with 4 Wasteland, 4 Daze, that's like your main game plan, is that you're keeping your opponent off balance in this way, and then using your 1 mana creatures to, get the game over with. So, I still like Wasteland as an answer to like, Cavern of Souls or Urza Saga, things of this nature. I still like Daze as a way you can tap out on turn 2 for a spell and still feel safe. But, I agree with your assessment that it's not the full game plan. It's just good tools in the toolbox.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to talk about a couple things that have changed since your original list, which I know by heart. Like if you just, gave me a pen and paper, I could probably write down like all 75 cards or certainly the main deck cards. But one of the things that was really big is you just didn't have that many threats. You basically had 4 Murktides and you had 4 Orcish Bowmasters, and those got the job done. And I was very skeptical at first, like really 8 threats in an entire deck? Like how do you close games? But what I found very quickly when I just, started destroying people at my like local weeklies and stuff with it, and then going to tournaments and stuff with it, is Murktide just ends the game whenever you need it to. And this card is just incredible. Like this card has won me more games than any other card ever printed. Obviously, like cards like Force of Will and stuff have like enabled me to like survive long enough to win. But this card just, you put it on the table and immediately the game becomes about Murktide. And so playing 4 of those and basically turning it into like a Mold Drifter, in the sense that you are potentially triggering 1 or even 2 Beanstalks when you play it, It's just such a powerful interaction, and this card is just so strong. So what you've done since then is it looks like you've reduced the number of threats even further to where you're just playing really 5 ways to end the game. And then Tamio, of course, one of the most powerful non-banned Modern Horizons 3 cards. Can you talk about some of the changes you've made recently and how you came up with this list?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that over the course of 2024, Beanstalk's position has been getting steadily better in the metagame, where the Grief build of Scam was obviously very, very powerful and pushed a lot of things out of the format, but then Grief was banned, and then now I think with Vexing Bauble and Psychic Frog banned, Beanstalk is definitely a winner from those changes. This deck was playing 2 copies of Psychic Frog, and obviously this is a card that can attack and deal damage. And so in the wake of that banning, we've had to adapt a little bit. I have 2 Bowmaster in the main. You'll see we have 2 more in the sideboard as well. I think Bowmaster is not like a ubiquitously good card the same way it was at like the end of 2023, we'll say, where there's a lot less X1s running around, and kind of the way the idea of the deck was that your threats of Bowmaster and Murktide are flexible, right? Where it's like for some decks, this is a removal spell. Versus other decks, it is a threat, like the controlling decks. Versus some combo decks, it's a way to punish their cantrips. Same with Murktide, where it's like, if you look at Murktide against a deck like, we'll say Blue-Red Delver, sometimes it does just act as a removal spell, where it's just like it's stopping the Delver from attacking, or it's forcing the Dragon's Rage Channeler to crash into it and die. And then against a deck like Control, it's not a removal spell, but it's a card advantage spell alongside Up the Beanstalk. And then, of course, maybe you play the first one, it draws a card and it dies to swords. And then you play the second one and it draws a card. And this time you Force of Will, the removal spell, so that it can actually deal the last points of damage, etc. So I think Bowmaster is a little worse right now. So we have 2 in the sideboard instead of all 4 in the main. I think that there's a lot less, like Swords to Plowshares and Pyroblasts running around, and so I feel like you can kind of get away with 3 copies of Murktide. One of the ways it felt like the deck lost in like earlier iterations was just you drew like 3 Delve spells early in the game and not enough food for them, we'll say. And so I think going from 4 Murktide down to 3 kind of reduces that a good amount. And yeah, it just feels like the meta could move to a place where you need more things that can actually deal 20 points of damage to your opponent, but I don't think we're in that spot right now.
Yeah, well, a lot of the decks are dealing a ton of damage to themselves through Thoughtseize and Ancient Tomb and things like that, so you may only need to deal like 10. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to get to the games. We can definitely talk some more about your decisions. I just want to highlight some of them. The removal suite is 1 Dismember, 1 Shieldred's Edict, 2 Murderous Cut, which triggers Beanstalk, very important card in the deck, and then 4 Fatal Push. So you've got a lot of removal. It looks like you've got what is this? 9 main deck removal spells, and then also Witherbloom Command and Orcish Bowmasters can kind of function as removal when used in concert or against X1s. So you've got just a ton of ways to keep the board clear. And then I want to call out the fact that you've got a main deck Consign as a nod to the power of Karnforge and Eldrazi. And you've just got the 2 Dazes, 3 Wastelands, so kind of like a mini tempo package. In the sideboard, you've got a couple more Consigns, and you've got 2 Harbingers. And I want to hear about this extra island. Is this like anti-Blood Moon tech, or when do you bring this in generally?
Yeah, it serves a few different purposes. I think anti-Blood Moon tech is one of the answers. And then I also like it against decks where you expect the matchup to go long and like repeatedly wastelanding you as part of the strategy. So things like Death and Taxes and lands, I just like having an additional mana source for strategies like that. And then also importantly, versus back to basics decks, with 2 islands and 1 swamp, you can cast every threat in your deck through a back to basics. Like the Murktides being double blue doesn't hurt you anymore. Same with Bowmaster and Narset. So it's like it fills the role of like, it's a nice little hedge for a few different strategies.
Awesome. Well, we're going to go ahead and dive into the league. And everybody, I encourage you to enjoy this. And hopefully you'll have lots of questions. Be sure to leave comments with timestamps if you have questions for me or Pokemoki. If you haven't followed his channel, he has an excellent channel. He just published a really cool video post-ban, like showcasing like a blue-red kind of like combo control deck. Very cool, with a Splinter Twin of all things in the One Ring. So check that out as well. And let's go ahead and jump into the league. Round 1, we're here with Pokemoki, and we are stoked to be playing the Beanstalk list. The opponent, I looked them up. They are likely on Jeskai Control. Oh man, this hand. What do you think about this hand?
This seems solid. Bowmasters, if we're assuming they're Jeskai, is definitely one of the better cards. And then these lists, I've been playing Tameo more and more often, so having the Edict for that or any
Witherbloom.
play.
We may actually want them to flip Tameo so we can exile her with Witherbloom, or not exile, but kill her. Yeah,
it definitely depends on the game plays out. But I like to keep this so that we can cast the Ponder.
Awesome. All right, so we're just going to lead on Underground Sea, and I will defer to your judgment. I'm going to try to confirm everything with you before I do it. But we do have time to worry about. Thoughtseize seems insane here. I feel like my instinct is to take the days now and then draw the Thoughtseize.
Seems good to me.
All right. Let's pass. Our opponent has wished us luck back. Flooded Strand Opener. Fetching. Mm-hmm. Basic Island. Ponder. I accepted. I assume we're not going to daze that.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I like to daze. Like the bigger the spell you're dazing, the better. So if you're dazing like they're playing a Karn, likely. They're definitely playing Teferi and Narset.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see what they're capable of here.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just gonna Thoughtseize.
Yeah. And generally my philosophy on Bowmasters is it doesn't matter about getting it down early. You just want to, in this matchup, you probably do want to get it down relatively early, but we want to make sure the coast is clear and our Bowmasters will survive because probably the best card in the matchup. I frequently, a lot of decks that don't even play Bowmasters, like my Dreadstone deck. Whoa. Force.
Narcomoeba.
I think we daze. Did they exile Narcomoeba? Yeah, I think.
Yeah, so maybe this is like a breakfast type thing. Yeah, we can daze. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, it's got to be breakfast. Okay, let's see. Okay, so they do have the Cephalid Illusionist.
But we have an answer for that, so I like just taking the Ponder.
Yeah, let's do it. And we'll just pass. We can Surveil in step.
It depends, because we might want to draw the Wasteland. It depends.
How
they sequence.
Well, they have 3 lands in their hand. You still?
Yeah, but I still think it's fine.
They drew a land too. I feel like
they did. Yeah.
I feel like we don't necessarily want the Wasteland at this point. We want to kill them dead. Is my instinct. Because Wasteland doesn't pitch to force. What's that?
That's true. I'm fine with Wastelanding here just because we have good interaction and Wasteland's a good spell or thing to rebuy with command later potentially.
That's true.
There's a Saga.
Okay, well we're gonna defer to you since you're the person who created the deck and you probably have way more reps than I do with it. Okay, so we're not gonna Surveil. We're gonna grab the waste and we're gonna go and fire it off.
Yep. Yeah. No reason to let them untap.
All right. So their hand has not changed. Just gonna pass. And at the very worst, we're filling up our graveyard with goodies for Murktide later.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Should we Surveil here?
Yeah. Now we can Surveil.
All right. I'm not used to having a Surveil land because I like to only play 1 tap land. So this is really nice.
Yeah, this one comes up a lot for me. I was definitely a little bit been that. I was a little bit hesitant at first to, change it up, but then I realized this is just the best thing to be doing. I think we just play the C and pass.
Yeah, and then we have Bowmasters up to take out their Illusionist, or we can just end step it maybe. What's your thinking here?
I definitely want to use this as a removal spell, because I don't think it's good as a raise the alarm. We'll say.
Yeah, But like in my experience, like they do have some degree of inevitability even with Nadu. So that's why I was proposing like we go ahead and start attacking them.
They do, but that's just not something I'm really worried about. Like, I think that if you just break up their synergies, their deck is pretty bad. You know, we have the Edict to deal with Nadu, etc.
All right. So I'll play this out and we'll just pass. And
Yep.
are we thinking are we
I
thinking
think
about
we
just
keep it as a
holding
force
this
pitch.
force pitch?
Yeah, I think we keep it as a force pitch. At least for this turn.
I do love having two forms of removal up. Okay, Memory's Journey putting interesting.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Yeah. They shuffle it back into their deck. Okay, so they have a slightly higher likelihood of finding a force here.
Sure. But they are down a card to do that, so
yeah,
doesn't matter to me.
Scariest thing they could have would be Teferi. There's a Nadu.
Yeah, I think we let the resolve because we have the Edict.
Yeah, and then we can fight with the Edict if necessary. But we're just gonna instep the Edict.
We could just do this now. I don't think it hurts or helps us.
All right, I'm gonna do it. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature of their choice. I always have to read it to make sure I don't screw it up.
Yeah, like it looks like they're grabbing either a cantrip or a nomad.
Yeah, I mean it'd be a disaster if they grabbed like a Dryad Arbor and we didn't have the that would be
exactly.
Yeah. I mean we could still poke it, but it wouldn't be great.
Yeah, I agree.
Now let's untap. We're looking for Murktide. Tamiyo's not bad at all.
Tamiyo's not bad. I think we just play the Tamiyo out and then we can still Bowmaster or something, if they go for it. There's only one unknown, there's only one unknown, right? It's because we can cross out the
Misty.
Yeah. The Misty.
Oh wait, yeah. Did they use all
the
fetches? Yeah. Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. She is a lightning rod for removal.
Yes.
And we have much more important spells to resolve here. We play this out. I mean, we're getting close to Lorien Revealed.
We are, yes.
We could even do the trick where we go get the Mystic and then we put Mystic Sanctuary and then we put the Lorien Revealed back on top.
We could. I don't want to put our shields down yet just because we don't need to. So I'm fine just drawing.
All right, let's draw. And by not fetching, we're increasing the likelihood that we draw lands. This is another piece of interaction. We could go ahead and Witherbloom just to get a land back. How do you feel about that?
I don't think we need to. I don't think there's reason to.
Okay.
They could play Urza Saga. They're going to play out a Nomads or Illusionist eventually, is my guess.
Yeah, and we can get Shuko as well. Okay, this is Bowmasters?
I think we can Bowmaster this, yeah.
I feel like with the amount of interaction, we're not giving up a lot here. And they've already used one of their removal spells.
Yeah, I think if we didn't have Fatal Push and Force, you could argue that maybe we leave it, but I think here we're in good shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to have the combo plus 2 pieces of interaction on 4 cards, and I think that's a high bar to clear, we'll say.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's interesting to me. There's 3 different builds of Nadu, and if I'm being honest, I feel like this is the worst one. Obviously, personal preference, but just you play so many bad cards. You play the Illusionist, you play Memory's Journey, you play Narcomoebas,
Yeah. Your average draw off the top is terrible.
Yeah, and they're still vulnerable to graveyard hate after all that, That's fine.
We just let it resolve, and now they have the trick. Okay, so now we have to fight over this Fatal Push. Yeah,
now we just push the Nomads, and then we can untap and command the Illusionist.
And they're down to 1 card, so
I think we're safe.
There is no card that they could have here, I don't believe.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that resolves, and we'll just command, and we'll also maybe get back a land, and we can just waste that.
I like wasting the Cavern, especially with this Force of Will in hand, because they could have Nadu as their last card.
Green, black, command. We're going to mill ourselves, and we're going to kill their creature.
Yeah. Yep.
That'll trigger. They should probably just concede here. I don't see how they have any hope.
it is looking bad for them, we'll say.
Yeah, but our opponent does not owe us a concession. They can keep playing if they like.
No,
Hit that, and then I'm just going to hit them for 6. And yeah, I mean, maybe they have like the AB in hand.
yeah. And then one small thing, I do think we could have attacked first just to play around a milled Narcomoeba, but it's a very small difference.
That's true. Yeah, they could have basically got an extra turn. This is fine.
I think we're good. Yeah. Because now they can't even force a will anything.
All right. That was very smooth, and that highlights the strength of Witherbloom command. I mean, felt pretty awesome there for sure.
Yeah. It's one of those things where your opponent has to play into it a little bit, just in their deck construction. But when you can get your 2-for-1 off of it, it feels quite strong.
You think the third one comes in here?
I think so.
How do you feel about Fairy Macabre, or Fairy Macabre, as Americans generally say?
Yeah. I think Macabre is good. I like Carpet and Veil.
Interesting. Yeah.
And then I think so what to cut is tougher.
Cage
I think
does stop the interaction.
It does. I'm less concerned with that. Because it's like, if they were a Green Sun deck, I'd bring in the Cage, but they're not, so I'm not going to worry about it.
What do you think about Deed as a way to blow up their constructs and just something we could park on the table that essentially prevents them from being able to win?
It's a reasonable include. I think let's focus on cuts for now, just because we have to cut a lot. So let's cut a Spell Bomb and the Consign.
Okay.
And then I think we can get rid of 1 daze, just because.
Yeah, we're on the draw.
Yeah.
And they have tons of mana.
I think 4 Bowmasters is probably a bit overkill, just because when they're doing like the Nadu thing, it's less good. So I think we can cut a Bowmaster.
Right.
To cut 2 more cards. They don't play Wasteland. I think this would be a reasonable spot to cut like the Swamp.
Yeah. And sometimes I'll cut Murktide as well in this matchup.
I think when I had Psychic Frogs, I was not cutting a Murktide, but I actually think that you running out of win cons now is a small concern, actually. So I like leaving in Murktides. Yeah, I don't like leaving in the Murktides, but I am leaving in the Murktides, we'll say.
Yeah.
And I think we could just... Oh, man. Everything else is so good. Let's just trim... I think we can just trim both dazes here and call it a day.
Okay.
Deed has its moments, but it is also kind of slow, and it does kill your own Beanstalks or Carpet sometimes. So I'm fine
it's definitely like more of like a D&T type tech.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think we can go with this.
Right, so we're just waiting for MTGO to confirm that they've received our submission. Sometimes that doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
All right, this has a lot of answers. I mean, this shuts off early threats, and on the draw, it feels like it's a
good combo. Yep. I'm fine to keep this.
All right, let's do it. Double force. So we can kind of stop the Nadu angle as well, and especially with that Wasteland, I'm inclined to just hold the Wasteland for an important card like the Caverns, for example.
Maybe it's possible. They did. I think if they could have fetched a basic island here, they would have, which does signal their hand is potentially a little bit land light. I would actually be fine wastelanding here,
even though they didn't shuffle.
I think it's okay.
Oh wow, yeah. Well, I'm definitely on the Wasteland train now. We drew another Wasteland, so yeah. And if they don't have a fetch and they're just playing out duels, then these Wastelands are going to potentially be brutal. They do run 20 land, which is slightly more than us. Okay, Strand.
They do, but
now we'll see whether they have the luxury to fetch basics.
Yeah, because they still might be land light and need all their colors.
There's a Shuko.
That's fine. Yeah, we don't care about that, I don't think. I think having the Macabre makes us feel very safe, right?
Yeah. So we thinking Island Ponder?
Yeah, Ponder, just find another land.
All right, we did find another land. Murderous Cut is nearly online.
It is. I think that's still probably the last card I'm going to draw. Yeah, like I would just do Hedge Maze Lorien here.
So Hedge Maze, the card we draw.
Yeah, sure.
I'll draw whatever you recommend. I think Lorien's an easy, a
Hedge
natural
Maze is fine.
pitch.
It's probably not going to matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we're pretty insulated from them doing anything dramatic for at least 2 turns, I think. But Nadu,
Yeah.
if they have Cavern into Nadu, that could be a big problem.
Yeah, Cavern into Nadu would be a concern. I think it's usually only like 1 Cavern of Souls, though, right? So it's less of a concern.
Okay, our opponent played a Misty Rainforest. They're brainstorming.
Yeah.
And they're going to be able to get a perfect brainstorm, but we're just going to let them do it.
Yep. Yeah.
One option we do have, if we don't want to get an ETB tap land, how do you feel about that ETB tap land? Because we could just shuffle with Lorien and see fresh cards.
No, I'm fine with it. I think we can play the tap land, and then, I guess we could brainstorm, and then we could play the tap land and surveil away a card that we don't care about.
Yeah, but like pretty much every card in our hand is good.
It is, but there's 2 unknowns on top of the deck. And we could also just keep with the surveil as well. That is an option.
That's true. All right. Well, maybe we should do that then. I'll brainstorm.
Yep.
All right. Murktide is a path to victory. We don't necessarily need the second Underground Sea. Are you cool with surveilling that away?
Surveil away the sea. All right. So I would put Murderous Cut Underground Sea and then surveil away the Underground Sea.
Yep. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, and then here we have double force, double blue card plus Macabre. So
yeah,
as you said, Cavern plus Cavern plus Nadu might be tough, but there's no guarantee that they have that.
All right, they're shuffling their brainstorm. Hedge Maze is their own. If they don't play a land, how are we feeling about wasting that? Oh, they played a land. I guess it doesn't matter. But in that situation, would you? We could waste the White Horse and then we could resolve a Murktide.
I think if they don't play a land, then yeah, I'm fine to wasteland.
This is fine.
I think we let this happen because that just means they're going to go for the Shuko play, and then we have the Macabre to beat that.
Yeah.
So yeah, because they don't have any mana up, we just hit the Thassa's Oracle and the what's the 2-mana one that shuffles?
Yeah.
The Memory one.
Memory Journey.
Memory Journey, thank you. Yeah, I'm bad with card names.
Okay, so we hit the Thassa's Oracle, so they're unlikely to have Cabal Therapy because these decks.
Yeah.
It. So we'll just wait.
I think we just we just yield to all this stuff, and then.
If we turn on auto yields, then we can basically make it look like
we don't have anything.
Yeah. We want to yield to this too.
Sure.
I just want to make sure that there's never going to be a moment where we'll get priority.
Yeah, we're not going to skip through our window. Yeah. Yeah, and if they therapy us, we'll still have a window to at least hit the Oracle. If the Journey's in hand, it gets a little bit more annoying, but it's still like we just have double force for that, so it's actually not annoying. And then we let them cast the Dread Return first to get rid of their board.
Yeah. So let's discard it.
Yep.
And again, we're going to hit Thassa's Oracle and then Memory's Journey.
Did they mill the Journey?
It's right here.
Did. Okay. Yep, perfect.
And that's game.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that felt good. I'm glad we had I didn't. It's rare that I play against Cephalid Breakfast that I don't feel at least some nerves, but we just had so many different things covered, and we were going to beat them over the course of we already had this would have come down as a 5/5, and really put a clock on them. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I agree. I think that showcased kind of the strength of Beans against these creature-centric combo decks. You just have the ability to pick apart their synergies.
Yeah. I'm definitely more worried about stack-based combo than I am about permanent-based combo when I'm playing Beans.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we have so many removal spells in the main that are kind of dead against stack-based, but I think there's less of that now than there used to be.
Yeah, well, not necessarily in MTGO leagues.
Yeah, it
I've had
depends.
lots of leagues recently where it's just been 5 combo decks in a row. I watched your video and you go up against Oops back to back.
True, true. Yeah, that Oops is one of the ones where it's not great. But like even like I guess this is not as true now because Psychic Frog is gone, but like even like Doomsday was playing frogs and Tamios where I was just like maybe it's good versus other decks, but for me I'm like, oh my god, yes, please turn on my fatal pushes. Thank
Yeah.
you. Um but yeah, obviously, you know, I'm sure it had its strengths in other matchups, but it was one of those things where I'm just like I feel much more comfortable because I have less dead cards in game one.
Round two with here with Pokey on the line. We're up
Yep.
against a likely lands player. Like their most recent result was kind of like Turbo Mulch. How do you what do you think about this hand against Turbo Mulch? I mean, this has
It's
Spellbomb,
close,
which
right?
is just really good, right?
Yeah, Spellbomb was good, but we only have one land, and we don't have like a Force of Will. I think if we assume it's lands, we can will again.
Okay. And I just want to talk about this a little bit more because, like, I'm definitely tempted to keep this in the sense that, like, okay, we can ponder and potentially find a land, and then even if they waste us, you know, like if they're on lands, usually their critical turn is not turn one; it's like turn two or turn three. Um, so my thinking was, oh, we can ponder the first turn, we can find a land. Second turn, we can drop um, the graveyard card, the Nile Spellbomb, and then we can go from there. Uh, it looks like they are running the 4 loams likely, mulch,
Mhm.
but assuming they're not on this would not be a particularly keepable hand in my opinion, just because of the
Yeah,
vulnerability of the wasteland. Uh, I mean,
yeah,
we could
it's
whiff.
close. It's close. Yeah, where it's like I think we don't have a great plan against Wasteland necessarily, so I'm fine to ship this.
All right, let's mull. This hand is not that different from the original hand actually, but it has 2
It's
cards that are
not.
probably dead in the matchup.
Yeah, well, Edict can hit a Merit Lage, which is kind of nice, which they
Yeah.
do sometimes go for. I think I'm keeping this and bottoming the cut. 3 Tabernacle, what the hell?
Yeah,
What does this guy need a
I don't
money?
even see like Merit Lage in here, but they followed with this
That's
list.
fair. Yeah,
They
yeah.
actually
I
have
still think I
another
want to keep this.
tabernacle on the side. I think they just went through Maze of
Yeah,
it, through I guess Urza Saga. Wait, 2
Saga.
Urza Saga?
Yeah,
What are the win cons? 2 Urza
I
Sagas
mean,
or win con?
I guess so. I mean, you get to recur it.
Yeah, I guess that's
Just
true.
big things. Yeah,
Okay, well,
yeah. This is not a great hand, but I think it's better than going to 5.
all right, awesome. Let's keep, and we're gonna put back one of the beanstalks, maybe, or we
I
should
would put back
put
Murderous Cut.
yeah, cut. All right,
Yeah.
so we could just lead with the tapped sanctuary, just
Yes.
get out of the way.
Yep.
Yeah, pardon my indecision. I was just like, I don't know.
No,
Like,
I agree with you. It was a very close decision. I think that if we had a second land, that hand becomes a pretty easy keep. So it's like I don't even, you know, I think it's a reasonable decision.
but this is going to be really solid if we can just start resolving beanstalks every turn.
Yeah, yeah. If they don't have an explosive turn one, um, you know, our prospects get a lot better. But
This is definitely a matchup
we'll
where
see.
Witherbloom command will be useful. Okay, Arena of Glory was not in their previous deck,
Yes.
so this
Oh
might
no,
be.
this could be Painter.
Yeah, could be Painter. I guess I have never seen this card in. Okay, it's definitely Painter.
Yeah. So, that's surprising to me, but I don't know. What could this mean for their hand? I think it means that they want to play like the tutor one on turn 2,
Yeah, I mean that
but
would be absolutely devastating if they're able to go get like
yeah,
you know. So
yeah. But I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh, I was going to see what you think our options are. One, we could ponder and try
I
to
think we
find a
just play out
force.
the beanstalk here, and
Yeah,
then next turn we look to ponder for a black source.
sounds like a plan. And
Yeah,
we'll just kind of clinch and hope that they don't have the nut draw.
blood
They
moon.
did mull
Yeah,
for it.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh wow, that's great.
Easy.
Yeah, I mean, assuming that they don't have a blast to go with whatever threat they're about to throw out there.
Yeah.
But we are going to get to draw a card off the beanstalk. If we can hold the force for another turn, we could draw 2 cards.
Yeah, that's always the the struggle, right? Where it's like you have the force, but you have the second Beanstalk, and you're just like, how badly do I want to do this? How much must I? So let's see what they do. If they play the engineer, I do think we.
I think we let
This one,
go.
I don't think we have to force. I think we let this one go.
Yeah. I almost never worry about Grindstone as long as I've got some sort of interaction. It's worth noting that Shieldred's Edict is not targeted interaction, so we can't necessarily take out that painter. It's also worth noting that if we force this, they can bring it back.
They can, but then they lose the Grindstone.
But they can Grindstone and then swap it after they've activated Grindstone, and then everything's blue.
Well,
with the trigger on the stack.
We're assuming we're going to draw an Edict or like a Black Source to kill the...
Yeah. Okay, well, let's just stop this. Pitching the Murktide.
Yes, yeah.
We draw. This is one of the worst matchups for the deck, in my experience. The fact that they have so many blasts. Oh, wow. Fatal Push is great.
Yeah. It is close.
Right, they're passing. Untap. Mm-hmm. We still don't have a Black Source. We need to find one. Let's go ahead and ponder.
Yeah. Wasteland works too.
Okay, we found a Black Source. We also got a Dismember, which is nice. But I think, like, my instinct is just to...
I would draw Bayou and then Dismember underneath it. Yeah, and then I'm playing the Edict just because it's the most expensive one.
Okay, let's do it.
Yep.
So we'll see if they want to do the swap. I mean, I would definitely do the swap, but I don't know what's in their hand.
Yeah.
Like a painter seems so much more useful than just a Grindstone.
I feel like they're likely going to swap. Yeah, so it's like if they have Mana Source plus Grindstone as...
they can sacrifice this. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
They could, but I don't think we care about that. I think they're just going to sacrifice, the
welder.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, they would have had their combo in play, and welder is useful for other things. But
exactly.
I agree.
Like if we didn't force the painter, we're in worse spot because they would just sack the painter and then do the thing you talked about.
Yeah. Another welder, which will be hasty.
I don't think we care about that. No, it's not hasty.
Oh, they didn't exert?
They need a red to exert it.
Ah, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. No worries.
Yeah, so it is going to come in, but we're not immediately dead. We can just push it and leave the painter on the table, or what is your thinking here?
So I think we know there's a land underneath the Dismember, so I think that we just play the Beanstalk and then draw the land and then kill both their things.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right, so let's go ahead and Beanstalk.
Yep.
Draw trigger.
Yeah, and I would start with the welder.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. We can get a potential big blowout. Unlikely, but like if the last two cards were Simian Spirit Guide plus Pyroblast, then by targeting the welder first, we could then Dismember Painter and completely collapse their game plan.
Yeah, that sounds good. We're thinking Underground Sea here, just to complete
I think so.
Set.
Unlikely to matter, but getting closer to being able to daze our Mystic Sanctuary for value has some merit to it.
All right. They're just passing without play, which we'd love to see.
Yeah. Feels like probably a Pyroblast effect would make sense for me.
Yeah. Murder's Cut is a great rip. Yeah, most definitely. Like, answer the next thing and draw 2 cards. And we even have excess mana we can dump into it, so we don't have to get rid of as many cards from our graveyard. So definitely one of the best draws.
That is a very good observation. I feel like if I could say, like, if there's a single mistake that is the most common among... I play that. If there's a single mistake that's, like, the most common among... Like, when people play Beanstalk, it's not underdelving for your spells, where it's like, you can just tap 4 lands and delve 1 card to cast your Murderous Cut,
Engineer. They're not exerting it, so yeah, that's fine. We'll see what they put in the graveyard before we slaughter it.
Yeah.
On that note, do you want to fetch here so we can just full casting cost it?
No. I think the fetch has value with Brainstorm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm tapping 4 lands and getting rid of, like, the Rainforest.
They're doing some damage to themselves, which will be nice because we may be able to clear them quickly. But as you observed, they probably do have a. Can they bring this back now?
No.
No, it's a lot of mana. Okay.
Yeah, it is a lot of mana.
Ensnaring Bridge.
Right,
Can we beat this? We actually don't have any answers to this in our deck, do we?
I'm sorry?
We don't have any answers to this in our deck.
We could daze. It's tough. It involves like looping Witherbloom command with Tameo, but yeah, it's
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm going to. Oh no.
Oh, we could daze the Sanctuary. So let's cut and then let's daze. Daze this back.
So let's tap 4 mana to Murderous Cut the Engineer before anything.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what we draw. And then we don't need to fetch before we daze. We can just daze and then decide what we want to do.
Oh, Lorien revealed.
That's pretty good.
That's insane. We can cut them off red. I think we daze here and bounce.
Now I will daze the yes.
Just daze the Sanctuary back.
Yep, I'm still dazing the Sanctuary.
This is great. Because I have so many questions with the lines, and it's really cool in my mind to think like, okay, what should I do here, and then to hear what you would do with your. How many leagues do you think you've played, or how many total matches do you think you've played with this deck?
It's tough, right? Because it's I've played so long. Because I've been playing this for a year, so probably 300 matches. I think in a year. Yeah. So here I'm fetching for a blue source and then putting Forcible on top with the Sanctuary.
Yeah.
And casting the Lorien.
All right, blue source.
Well, so I think
we have to play this out. Sorry. Yeah.
No worries.
All right. Let's get the force here.
Yeah. Hopefully, there's a blue card. 4 under or whatever.
Okay. Now let's go ahead.
There is potentially an argument to hitting the red source, but I just feel like.
I mean, we're about to get so far ahead here.
Yeah.
We're into concede mode. In fact, I'm getting some lag. I wouldn't be surprised if they were conceding here.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the reasons. I told you, I may have mentioned that I have a list that has 4 Lorien revealed in it, just because I noticed Punishing Waterfalls was doing that. And if you are in some slow state, Lorien revealed becomes this incredible top deck that you have a whole bunch of.
It can be, yeah.
But I mean, obviously, there's a cost. Oh! I did not mean to submit. How do I unsubmit?
Oh no, there's no way to unsubmit, but you can just start sideboarding.
All right, let's hope that they didn't finish sideboarding.
Yeah, we can bring in 2 Hydroblasts.
Okay. And then we'll take out maybe the Dazes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Now, Spellbomb, how do you feel about that?
I like it. I would bring in Command and Deed.
Yeah.
And cut a Beanstalk and 2 Force of Wills.
Okay.
And then we can bring in the island.
Sounds like a plan. All right. Do we want to cut a land when we bring in the island? Because they're not going after.
Well, I'd hit submit. I'd hit submit first to make sure that it locks this choice in. Because if you don't, it'll not sideboard. And now we can decide if we want to cut a land. Yeah, I think we could cut either the Bayou or the Misty or the Sanctuary. I mean, for a Bowmaster. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, sorry to my excellent friends tuning in for the stress associated with me accidentally submitting there. I was just so excited. This is a mull, right?
Oh, I'm keeping this.
You are? Interesting. I mean, it does have, it's a very reactive hand.
Yeah.
We don't have a pass to the second land, though.
We don't, but the way I view it is we have 4 draw steps before things start to go wrong because we have 3 pieces of interaction.
Yeah.
And I think within 4 draw steps, I like my odds.
All right. Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. How many draw steps before things really go off the rails?
Consider that, with this hand, we have 4 draw steps, and then lands are good draws. The other 3 fatal pushes are also good draws. The Thoughtseize is a good draw. Spellbomb is decent. Yeah. So it's obviously lands are the best draws, but it's important to think about what other things are acceptable and keep you playing the game. And I think when you combine that all together, this becomes a keep.
Awesome. One question I have while we're waiting for our opponent to decide whether they're keeping. Your original list, I think, only had 2 fatal pushes. I believe the mix was 2 fatal push, 2 murder's cut, and 2 shieldred's edict, and then you had like a dismember in the board. And now you're on team 4 fatal push. Like, what changed now that Frog is gone? You still think we should be on 4 fatal pushes, and why?
I do. I think the biggest thing was that you had 4 bowmasters in the original list, and that was acting as your removal spell because there were so many ones. But that's not true anymore. And there's still things like Tameo to think about. There's still things like Delighted Halfling. I would actually just push this.
Just push it now.
Yeah, I mean, we can. Any reason to let them that.
They don't. Yeah, I'm just worried that they play something out, but we can definitely do that.
That's fair.
I mean, something will go on the stack, right? Like, there's no. They can play artifact lands, but there's nothing in their graveyard.
No, actually, I think you're right. We should let them make their turn, thinking that this might be a thing in play that they can work with. Yeah. No, I agree with you. But yeah, I think obviously Frog was a big reason to want 4 fatal push, but I still think between Tameo and Delighted Halfling, and I'm expecting Delver to be back in the metagame. I want 4 fatal push.
Yeah.
Even things like Fleshraker and Thought-Knot Seer are still important cards to handle.
All right, so I think we want to push the welder now before it can be pyroed, or what are your thoughts on that? Because
it's close.
I mean, we do have dismember plus force if they have the blast next turn. That's not how I want to spend my turn cycle.
Actually, I think so this I kind of want to try to untap and see if we draw another black source, because then we can go for that blowout play that we talked about.
Uh-huh.
So I think we just let this resolve and pass, and then we see what happens. Because it ends up working out close to the same.
So wait, the play, I just want to make sure I'm on board with like what you said the blowout play is.
So if we draw another mana, we can push the welder, and if they pyroblast that, we can dismember the painter.
Yeah, okay, to get yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, I agree. I think that'd be really cool, and it doesn't really hurt. Like, we're probably not using this mana for anything anyway.
Correct, yeah.
I mean, we could dream big. They only have 4 cards in hand, so if we can get a blast out of their hand and effectively counter it, that's amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, we didn't get the land.
We did not. So I think I'm just fatal pushing here.
Fatal pushing the actual welder? Or?
I think I want to hit the engineer. Or the painter.
Yeah, because my thinking is because this could potentially kill us next turn. This would be a little harder to kill us. I mean, let's see, let's say hypothetically they draw or they have a grindstone in hand, and they have another mana source. Then they could play the grindstone, they could activate it, and then they could switch it out for the Painter Servant, and we could die as a result of this. If we push this, then we don't need to worry about them doing any shenanigans, but then we absolutely have to force grindstone, which they may be able to reply, and then the following turn we're dead.
Yeah, we lose to grindstone either way, which is fine. So yeah, I'm just pushing the painter here.
Okay.
Another reason is we have command for the X1 if we draw a green source later.
And they're blasting. Do we force this?
We do, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm going to just pitch probably Tameo as the weakest card.
Yeah, I'd pitch
Actually, we can pitch anything because it's all blue.
True. I still think Tameo is the worst card, though. You could maybe argue Beanstalk is worse, but I think Tameo is worse. So yeah, we did definitely take a risk here, right? Where it's like, they need to have Pyroblast, Grindstone land, and for us to not draw a land. But I think it gave us the potential for like more likely to win the game, we'll say.
Yeah. Okay. So they got city mana. They could do that play.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a relief. I mean, like, this is still
a relief,
pretty dangerous card, but
it is good. But we can dismember the shaman token to keep them off
Another
of
welder.
artifacts at the very least.
Yeah, we definitely want to keep them off artifacts.
Yeah.
And constrain their mana doesn't hurt too.
It doesn't.
Best draw would probably be like a green source so we could Witherbloom and kill one of these and maybe mill into the land. I'm not sure what sequence you would take it in, but we do need to get rid of the token sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I'd probably kill the token first, and then next turn we could hope to, with Moon Command, rebuy a land and welder.
So you would be hydroblasting the welder and not the fable itself? Because we could cut them off the value and prevent them from being able to just...
Yeah, I feel like with Painter in the yard, I want to get rid of the welder, but there's options. Obviously, it depends on what we draw.
All right. So this is going to be a bayou, or I'm sorry, a trop.
Oh, well, so I think I still want to dismember the shaman token this turn.
Yeah. And then, but we could blast this, but I see your reasoning that.
Yeah, I think I don't want to do that, but it could be wrong. And then I'm playing the Verdant and passing. Because if we don't need to Hydroblast, we can Surveil.
That's true. We have done a lot of damage to ourselves this game with that Dismember and also taking in the Force. And yeah.
It's the fifth Fatal Push, but it's definitely not free. But it does have its moments, right? Like against Troll, Nadu, Magus of the Moon. It's fairly important to be Magus of the Moon.
Yeah. Yeah, and having a Hydroblast up just in case they put something crazy on the stack. Like a Magus of the Moon. Or Blood Moon.
Yeah.
They're coming in. All right. Bowmasters wouldn't be terrible here.
Definitely not, no.
All right, so I'll get the Surveil land here, assuming they don't have anything else. They do have something else. I feel like blasting
this. This is one I want to Hydroblast, yeah. Yeah, I definitely want to Hydroblast this.
Get our trop, our lone trop. You only play one.
Yeah. Green is definitely the splash color.
All right, and they're Hellbent. They are going to have a flip Fable next turn.
Yeah, true.
Murder's Cut. So, options.
This turn, I think we command, kill one of the welders, bring back a land. Next turn, we play Beanstalk plus Cut.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Let's go ahead and do the green, black, command. And we're just going to try to dig out of this. Now that we have our mana underneath us. And what you said, I just want to point out, was precisely what happened. You said that as long as we were able to get out of there by turn 4, and I think it is like turn 4 right now, then we'd be okay. And we're okay now.
It is, yeah.
So we're not doing anything right now. We have the option to go get a Surveillant or a basic island, which might not be the wrong call.
Yeah, I wouldn't do anything yet, but we can see what happens.
Yeah,
we might want to Surveil. We might want to Brainstorm. You know, like you say, we might want the basic. We might want another black source.
Soul Guide.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it represents Painter, right? But okay.
Yeah, not anything we can really do about it. Exactly. I'm not in the emergency brainstorm camp, like unless it's something really important. And if they just weld this out, like it's not a big deal.
Yeah. And see, they're just using it to draw a card anyway.
Okay, and they're passing, and that makes me think, let's go ahead and go for the Surveillant. Oh wait, they're not passing it. They're just going through combat.
Yeah, we can wait till the end step.
Are we gonna? So we are gonna target the welder, and we're just gonna leave this on the table.
It's close. I think we can see what we surveil and what we draw, etc. Because like right now, they don't have anything.
That is a land.
I think we have to bin that though, because it's
All right, so we get 2 looks before we have to do. Oh, we got a Misty.
Yeah, I still think we just do the Beanstalk and cut first because we might draw relevant things. Like we might draw Wasteland. We might draw.
Spellbomb's pretty good.
That's actually really good.
And now we can hit this and we can play it out.
Yes, exactly. So now we cut the Fable and we play out the Spellbomb. I would cut first in case we draw something different.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, don't think too hard about Delph.
All right, draw trigger. Another
And
land.
here I think we can fetch a basic island to play around.
100%. There's no reason to expose ourselves to that risk. And I think we're firmly in the driver's seat now.
Yeah, obviously the 2 cards in hand with 4 mana. So it's like, we do have to worry about some things. But
Dragon Engine would be scary.
yeah, exactly. I do think on the whole we have stabilized pretty well.
A land. Okay, that's good to see. Engineer.
It is.
This is scary.
This doesn't do anything.
Yeah, we just
they
have
don't have any
to
artifact right now.
spellbomb them when they attempt to put something in there.
Yep.
They could put the thing, the dragon. No, it takes 5 to get it out.
It does,
They did put the dragon engine
if
in.
they had like an artifact land, we'd be in trouble, but
Yeah.
they don't, so we're not. So yeah, I think on our turn we just untap, pop the spell bomb, and then brainstorm.
Sounds like a plan. And we're at 6 life, so that's something to be cognizant of. Because in these kinds of matchups, it's easy to completely just ignore your life total because it doesn't feel like it's mattering when you're just getting hit by 1/1s. But that's good.
Yeah, I'm still starting with the spell bomb, just because we know we're doing that for the turn.
All right, we draw Witherbloom, which is a really good draw.
It's quite good. Yeah.
So we're going to want to go fetch a black source here, I imagine.
Yeah, I would brainstorm. I guess not.
I mean, everything in our hand is really good.
Yeah, you're right.
And I do want to play a little bit quicker just in case there is a game 3, which I don't think there will be. Because, I don't know
you
if
could argue maybe we just want to drain for 2 here.
Yeah.
We don't need the land, do we?
We have plenty of land, but we could pick up a...
Wasteland.
No, I exiled the other...
That's fine. I think I'm fine just draining for 2 here. Sometimes these decks play Lightning Bolt, and I think we're far enough ahead.
All right. Yeah. I'm hearing your reasoning there.
Yep.
Okay.
And I think we just play Beanstalk out.
And then if we manage to draw a force, it'll be insane.
It would feel good.
Bowmaster's not bad.
Also pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, so...
if they start attacking with this welder.
Yeah, you can just ping and block, kill it, and get it off the table. A lot of their scary draws have already been dealt with.
Yeah. I think another Fable would be probably one of their better draws. So it feels like likely either just land or Pyroblast.
Lauren revealed, draw 5 cards.
Yeah.
There could be a blast in hand.
We still draw 2. I'm fine with this.
All right. It's been a while since I've drawn 5 off of Lauren revealed. I mean, I basically stopped playing. Like, the deck just couldn't win for a long time. I had so much trouble with it. It was bolting us here, which is fine. Yeah. We did drain them.
I'm happy we gained 2 with Witherbloom command, huh?
Yeah, 100%. Or we would be like dead next turn. That would be an embarrassing way to die. Yeah. Okay, we did draw a land. So options. We could just play up the Tamio as a blocker, but then if they have another bolt off the top, we're dead.
I mean, we're dead to that anyway, right? There's only one more Force of Will left in the deck, so I think you just play the Tamio.
All right. I will get another island since we have all our other lands colors covered.
Yeah, because it's like we'd be at 2 either way because the engineer's attacking. I mean, I guess you could argue that like we could ponder to try to find our last Force of Will, but there's only 1 left in the deck. I think if there were 3 more in the deck, then ponder makes a little bit more sense, but
All right. Hydroblast makes me feel a lot safer. Yep. You want to go ahead and ponder first? Yeah. Or we get Lorien revealed again?
No, I don't want a Lorien this turn. I want to, keep up our mana and play out Bowmasters and etc.
There's the Force.
Command is great. Force is great. Yeah.
So I'll just put
we draw 4. Yep.
Yeah.
Draw the Force, attack, then you can brainstorm.
Do we want to brainstorm or do we just want to have double Bowmasters?
I want to flip Tamio because... Oh, yeah, we're not commanding it. I want to flip Tamio because it shrinks the engineer so it can't attack.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then you're right. We could just double Bowmasters in the end step.
I'm going to put this on top and...
Sure.
This, yeah, sure. Doesn't really matter.
Seems fine to me, yeah.
We're either dead or we're not, but hopefully we're not.
Exactly, yeah.
Got 7 minutes. Let's just try to win this game. Just
Yep. I think it should be pretty straightforward at this point.
And I think at this point, like if they don't have anything to do with the engineer, I do want to just get it off the table with a double Bowmaster ping.
It's close because if they have Pyroblast plus Lightning Bolt, then we lose to that. Yeah, I'm fine with playing. I want to just play out one and then not the second one.
That's fine.
And then we can just minus Tameo to get back like Witherbloom command. Or
we have a Witherbloom on top, but we could get Witherbloom back and then we could do Witherbloom and we could bolt and we could Bowmaster. And then we could attack.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fine.
So I'm going to get Witherbloom here.
Yep.
We're going to go ahead and do it.
Thanks to mana.
Oh, we get... Man, I forgot about that. That's such a cool interaction. Yeah, we'll just get black, I guess.
Good. I would get black here, yeah.
Yeah, and then we got green. It's Witherbloom. Yep. We'll just drain some life.
Yeah, drain for 2.
And
drain for 2, shrink their thing.
Their creature.
Yep. Shrink their guy, drain for 2.
Now we're going to go ahead and
Bowmaster.
drop the other Bowmaster. It's dead. Now we can attack. And I think we just chill with lots of interaction up.
Yeah. I think we're pretty locked.
Clue activated. We got lots of stuff going on. This feels really good. Like, Simian Spirit Guide, I think we just let that through. Is there any reason to kill it?
Let's think.
Because we can just attack with the Bowmaster and potentially trade with it. We can blast it next turn if we need to.
I want to blast it and just kill them. Maybe it's a little bit premature, but
okay.
I think we're okay.
Right.
Yeah, like you can blast it and then we can crack the clue.
And they don't have any red mana up anyway, so.
Yeah, exactly.
And it looks like they conceded. I'm getting the lag.
Cool.
All right. So we just like very patiently kind of picked them apart and man, like I would not have kept that hand. Like my instinct was, oh, we can do better. But I totally see what you're saying, and I'm going to incorporate that into my mulliganing with this deck in the future.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a useful heuristic. It's just like how many turns can I survive with this hand?
Yeah.
You know, and are there draws that aren't lands that are good for the deck?
Yeah, that's a good heuristic to keep in mind. All right, so we are 2-0-4-0, so doing great going into game 3, and we'll be right back with Pokemoki. All right, round 3. We are 2-0 going into a likely Infect player. They've played Infect quite a bit recently, including with a 5-0 finish like yesterday. Mm-hmm. Looks like a pretty standard Infect list. I don't see anything new. 4 Legolas quick reflexes, noteworthy. Split second card. Mm-hmm. I don't see anything remarkable about the list. So, yeah. Boseiju, main deck. I'm not sure what that's for, but I'll be excited. I haven't played against this deck in a long time, and I actually have Alpha Berserks. So I would love to play this deck. I'm just not convinced it's good. Against Infect.
I'm fine to keep this.
The Wasteland does give us a lot of insulation because one of the ways they get you is through the Linkmoth Nexus, but we have tons of removal, which is what we want. We have stack interaction. I think we keep 2. Yeah.
Yep. I'm fine to keep. Yeah. I think if they're playing this card, they're trying to win with it on turn 2. So I am pretty happy to just Wasteland it.
Yeah, and I think we do it now before they have access to Legolas quick reflexes. So,
I agree.
Yeah.
And just to play around like Blighted Agent.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they may have kept a mana light hand, and this might be consequential.
We'll see. I think just giving us another turn cycle to find black mana is powerful.
Yeah. And here, I'm worried. I'm a little bit worried.
Yeah, I mean, we have the days. You know, if they're going to animate and attack with this, it does play into days. I'm playing the island here though because I want to be able to daze around their days, and I want to be able to brainstorm an end step. Yep,
I agree with that sentiment. I don't like doing end step brainstorms, but this is one of those matches where if you can get through the first few turns, we still gonna brainstorm.
Yeah. I'm still gonna brainstorm here because like when you have 2 brainstorms, you actually get 1 card deeper, and especially with Lorien revealed in the deck.
I'm gonna put back Sanctuary for sure. I think we could put back Murktide. We're just not ready for Murktide yet. How do you feel about
Yeah,
that?
it's either Murktide or Beanstalk.
We could put back Beanstalk, yeah.
Yeah.
And then what we can do is we can upkeep shuffle with Lorien revealed,
Yes.
and then we can waste them. And so we get rid of
Yes.
these cards permanently. Do we
Yes.
want to... Okay, so like Beanstalk just seems like so much better of a card right now than Murktide does. Like I genuinely want to talk a little bit more
Murktide,
about...
it's very tough for them to actually get through Murktide, right? Because it's like they have to attack with a creature and use their pump spells, and then that's they have to use like 2 pump spells just to be a removal spell for Murktide.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and do that play that I mentioned. We'll cycle.
Yeah.
We're gonna go get a Underground Sea.
Yep.
And then we're just instead of playing the Underground Sea, are we gonna go ahead and waste again? I think we should.
Yes, that is what I want to do. Especially against an opponent that missed a land drop. I like waste something quite a lot.
All right. Okay, they did find a land.
Yep, but I think we're still fine with that.
Tamio.
And here I think we just untap and fatal push it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like keeping days. Days becomes force of will in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
When your opponent's land is as light as it is. So yeah, I think we just go ahead and push and then we chill.
Yep. Yeah. And then I don't want to brainstorm here.
Yeah.
I think it.
I never brainstorm when I don't have a land drop ready because, you want to be able to immediately shuffle away the bad stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I shouldn't say never, but usually I'll wait. Okay, now.
Here I'm just going to play the Tamiyo and pass the turn.
Yeah. Do we want to play it off blue? I
think we want to hold up the black
wasteland.
mana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tamiyo for me, not for thee.
Yeah, it matters less against a deck like this that doesn't play that much removal, but I'm dazing this.
Oh, I'm sorry. I passed priority.
Oh, it's fine. No, it's fine.
Like I usually don't daze. I won't usually daze a brainstorm if I think they're like low on land, but I will daze like a ponder. And it looks like we should have dazed there because now they're unlocked.
Yeah, I think when they miss a land drop, it's a thing I like to do.
This is an easy push. We can. Do you want to incept push it, or do you just want to? Sorry, I
was thinking to daze it, but I think we can push it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we can push this. It's fine.
You want to go and do it now?
Yeah, sure.
And
because if they daze, we can daze back, and
My thinking is just like daze is going to be really powerful later on.
True.
But I might be wrong. Okay, and now we can do that play where we just drop the Murktide and see if they can deal with it.
Yeah.
They don't have removal in their deck, I don't think.
They have Berserk, but I think it's tough to Berserk and Murktide.
Yeah. Please Berserk our Murktide.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do 1, 2, 3.
I would leave a fatal push just to bring back with Tamiyo.
That's a good point.
Potentially. Yeah. It's fine if it's one shorter.
We need one more land. All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
And here I'm actually fine to cast the Brainstorm and flip the Tamiyo.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah.
I guess since they don't play removal, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, they didn't daze the fatal push. Our mana's a little bit tight, and
so I'll just put these deltas on top.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and I think we're in a spot where it's like we might want a minus on fatal push next turn when they play something, right? So it's like
or if they give us something we absolutely have to force, we can do that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the split second card is like a serious problem because they can split second and then you can't even follow up with more removal.
True.
So, we could potentially find a wasteland. We've already used 2, but do you think it's worth looking for one? They could always activate and then they could give the...
I want to fetch and crack the clue. I want to fetch for a Bayou and crack the clue first.
Okay. Yeah, we could do that. So just to minimize the likelihood, we know we have a dead land on top. So when you say, so you're thinking like we just tap like this and keep the green up?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, Lorien?
That's
probably the pitch to force unless we find another land. Do you feel safe attacking or do we chill?
So the thing is, we lose. They probably have just like a ton of pump spells. So I think we want to.
But we could get them to expend mana, potentially pumping into Murktide, and then we could push to blow out.
Yeah. Huh. This is actually kind of tough. The Nexus was the best possible because it's like we can't just kill it then untap.
Well, here's my thinking.
I want to brainstorm.
Okay, you want to brainstorm now because we could keep up 2 forms of interaction if we get the Fatal Push back. We could Fatal Push, and then we have enough cards in the graveyard to cut as well.
Would we though? Because the thing is, if they have the quick reflexes, we don't have like the Fatal Push doesn't matter.
That's true.
So yeah, I think I want to brainstorm here.
Okay.
Just to like find potentially another.
We have already played our land though. I just want to point that out.
We have, yeah, true. Okay. But we could find like second forest. We could find a Thoughtseize.
Yeah, of course. Legolas is split second, so we can't force that. All we can do is stop like the other pump spells.
Yeah.
Man, Legolas is such a beating because they can cast it and then they can tap this and kill our Murktide. But
correct, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we did find some lands we probably don't want.
Yeah, we did. We can, yeah. That's fine. And then I think here we just plus Tameo and then leave up the Murderous Cut.
Yeah, and we're not attacking in. Or do you want
to attack? Yeah, I wouldn't attack. I think it's a little bit.
Yeah. All right, let's chill. All right, and with Tameo, we basically have inevitability. Like they have to do something because eventually we'll draw so many interaction spells, they won't be able to power through.
Yes. Yeah, and one thing to keep in mind here. So when let's say they Legolas, they pump the Nexus with a bunch of pump spells. Yep. Obviously, this is what's happening. We can Murderous Cut our Murktide and then daze it to grow it and make it survive the -X from the Ink Moth.
Doing 6/6.
I would force this. I think you have to force this.
And if we do it, then yeah, because what they're going to do is they're going to do a subsequent play. All right, and you want to pitch Lorien, or what are we pitching?
Yeah, pitch Lorien. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's incredibly telegraphed that they have the reflexes, so there's nothing we can do about that.
So unfortunately, we just have to let this go.
Yeah, I mean, we just let that happen. I would daze this.
Yeah, and then they have to have a mana to be able to play the reflexes.
And they've already played their land for turn, so like I don't see how they get out of this.
Yeah. So it looks like they're gonna. What are they doing if they don't have green mana? I guess I don't understand what they're doing here.
I don't think they can get out of this unless I'm missing something.
They could have an Elvish Spirit Guide, but I haven't seen that played in these lists.
Yeah, that would be rough. How big is the Nexus right now?
5/5.
5/5. Oh wait, does Berserk only double the power in combat? Is it a 5/5 or a 10/5?
Cast this spell only before combat damage step. They can do it anytime, basically before combat.
Resolution's a little. Yeah, but I'm saying so. Right now it has 10 power, right?
No, it has 5 power.
Why didn't this resolve?
We dazed it.
But they paid for it.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. You're right. Like
Wait,
they paid for it.
Did they pay for it, or what's happening?
I don't know.
All right, I'm not going to worry about it. We're in end step.
That's crazy. Yeah. Okay. Well, they just spent like their hand basically.
Yeah.
Here, I'm thinking
I'm fine to
ponder
get
first.
Back a Force of Will.
Okay. You want to ponder before we decide, or I guess we don't have a card to pitch.
No. I'm getting back the Force of Will.
All right. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And now, I believe they still have that card in hand. Whatever it's called.
They do. Yeah.
But if we attack, then they may not have enough pump spells, and we do have force for one of the pump spells. How do you feel about attacking here?
I think we wait a turn.
All right. I'll just play out. We haven't used our surveillance yet. I'm going to play out this Catacombs.
Yep, that makes sense to me.
And we can protect Tamio, and she can potentially regrow a Force of Will again next turn if we need to.
Yeah.
That was really weird. But like you said, let's just keep moving on. It's a mystery to me because it didn't seem like you should be able to cast Berserk if you can't use it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Sometimes people just make mistakes, and you don't have to overthink everything.
Yeah. It's not my responsibility to know the timing of their Berserk. That's on them. But it is like a mystery.
Yeah.
If you're watching and you know what happened, please comment with the timestamp. We're going to keep that.
Yeah, I think this is fine.
And now I think we can probably plus and
I was going to get back a blue card just so that I have double force, double blue card.
Yeah.
And then I was going to attack and make it a 2-turn clock.
Yeah, that's a good observation because it'll be 8 power. And we can just say goodbye to Tamio. She's done a good job here.
Yep.
Get back Brainstorm maybe for maximum flexibility.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter here.
All right. Let's go to combat. And they could block, which would also shrink with the infect damage.
True.
We can play this out and we can have a hard cast force as well, but I don't think we want to do that because they likely have days.
Yeah, and so we're definitely pitch casting the first one, we'll say, because of days.
I think this is fine.
That's fine, yeah.
So if they attack us, I'm not sweating it. Here we go.
Me neither.
There are the quick reflexes.
Yeah.
So
Yep, you can stop that one. But they have 2 spells. We have 2 Force of Wills.
Yep.
So I think we just counter what's left over, and then we can cut to grow our Murktide again. So it's like the -2 doesn't actually stop us.
Right.
I would just cut an end step.
Yeah.
And here I want to grow it. So yeah, I'm definitely, this is fine.
Just grow 2.
Yeah, 2 is fine.
We'll exile a Daze and a Brainstorm and pay the rest. Should prompt a concession unless they have something that, I don't know. They could potentially, they don't have the mana to untap it and block again. So I think they're dead.
Correct, yeah. If they had another Legolas, what they could do is untap the Ink Moth and then shrink the Murktide by 2 again, just by tapping the Ink Moth for mana. But it looks like they either didn't have that or didn't see that.
Yeah. All right. So we did use a lot of clock. We're down 5 minutes. That's worth noting.
Yeah, let's play a little bit quickly.
Jump to sideboard. It's too bad we don't have Plague Engineer. It's like an insane card in this matchup.
I know, but it is what it is. I think you just bring in 2 Bowmaster, the Carpet, and the Witherbloom command.
Yep.
And then I think we cut both Spell Bombs and the Consign.
Yeah. And we need to make one more cut.
Yeah, I think
Narset's not like great here. I don't know.
Yeah, we could cut Narset. I think that's fine.
Yeah, just she is a little bit slower. Like,
tapping out.
Thoughtseize seems insane.
I like
here.
Thoughtseize. Yep. I like all this stuff.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else, any other changes. I mean, Deed. This is one of those matches where if you manage to get Deed on the table, like it blows up artifacts, and Nexus is an artifact, and it doesn't matter what they do.
Yeah, sure. If you want to bring in like a Deed and cut maybe like a Beanstalk, I think we can do that.
You're making me cut my favorite card.
All right. You can cut something else.
No, it's like I love it. Like this whole time I've been in pain because it's like I want to have 4 Beanstalks.
You could cut like the Days or the Islands. We are bringing in Carpet as an extra.
Oh yeah, we don't need the Islands for sure. Like we can cut one of the Islands.
Yeah, I think just a basic Island is a fine cut.
I mean, Harbinger's not terrible in the matchup, right?
It's okay.
Yeah. Well,
I don't want it.
Yeah. You got to go fast against these matches, or you need things that like have an immediate impact. Deed just shuts the door.
Yeah, I think Harbinger is fine. I just like the other cards in here a little bit better. Yeah,
I'm excited to play Carpet again. I've been playing like Esper tempo and Esper control type decks for the past few months because I've had to get the frog in there.
I'm fine to mulligan, yeah.
Yeah. This also seems like a mulligan.
It's better though. I think it's fine to keep, and then
all right.
we just bottom.
Yeah, bottom the swamp probably.
Yeah, bottom the swamp makes sense.
All right. This is an extremely passive hand. We'll see if they run us over.
Yeah, luckily Wasteland is good.
Yeah. And are we saving the Wasteland for...
Yeah, save it, and then just cast Ponder.
Bowmasters is a good pickup. I think Trop into Ponder.
Yep. We're looking for like Days or Force of Will to protect this.
Oh, that's pretty perfect. Yeah, yep. This is great.
This is like exactly what we want. Command is great with Wasteland, etc., etc.
Yeah, and even if they have the unblockable guy, he's not unbowmasterable.
True.
There he is.
This is tough. I think you could argue that you want to daze this.
Well, my thinking is let's bowmaster and then we can daze their interaction.
True. Yeah, okay, that's fine, I guess.
But that does give them a turn to, they're like, okay, well, I've got everything and I'll just put it all into
it gives them a turn with Ink Moth is the issue.
So if we do daze this, then we don't have a path to removing it is the problem because we don't have enough mana.
Yeah, that is true.
So my instinct is just to let them hit us however hard they need to hit us with the Ink Moth, but this represents like they have to pay mana and it reduces the number of things they can do with the Ink Moth, whereas this just they get a free roll and they have tons of mana up.
Okay, yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, it's like the dazing the Blighted Agent is really bad if the opponent has a daze.
Yeah, I mean, if the opponent has a daze, at least we can daze back here.
Yeah.
Do we want a Witherbloom instead? I don't think that's correct.
No, because we can't make her the Wasteland yet, so I think we just Bowmaster here.
All right.
And we can get a Underground Sea. Yeah.
And I'm not going to mess around and give them any windows for Legolas quick reflexes. There's the days that we thought they might be able to have.
Back. Yeah, that makes me feel so much better. Yeah.
And they can't have another days. They could have a force.
They could. One small thing, I think I would have returned the Trop because if we draw like a Fatal Push next turn, we get to go like Wasteland plus Hold.
Yeah, that's a good point. We don't have any. These are like little optimizations to my play that I'll incorporate as I get back.
Yeah, small things.
Yeah, because we don't have any 1-drops that are green other than Carpet. I mean, drawing Carpet wouldn't be terrible, but it wouldn't be great here. Looks like Atomio is fine.
Yeah, Atomio is fine. Bowmaster keeps that in check pretty well.
Yeah, and of course, if they flip her, we can exile her. Or not exile, but kill her with a
exactly, yeah. Attack, yeah. Exactly. You get it. I'm just wastelanding the Ink Moth and then passing the turn.
I mean, we might as well attack. We get a damage, right?
Yeah. That is one thing, too, about if we had held up the Underground Sea, is that we could have attacked first and bluffed the second Bowmaster. Although, I guess it doesn't matter. They would just block this one anyway. Never mind.
Yeah, they would just block the Bowmaster and not the Orc Army.
Correct.
All right, another Blighted Agent, which is perfect to remove with Witherbloom. We can even take out the Clue token and kill the Witherbloom if we want, or Blighted Agent if we want.
We could.
I think it's probably better to get the Wasteland back.
I want to just get back Wasteland, yeah.
Hope that they don't have another days. We do have the option of just cutting this, but I feel like Witherbloom is a strong play. Even if it,
I think Witherbloom is a strong play. They would need to have very specific things to kill us. Like they would need to have Invigorate plus another way to combo kill. That doesn't involve drawing any cards. I guess Daze plus combo kill as well. So it's like they would need to have 3 good cards here.
Okay, they did have the days.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's unfortunate, but
it is, yeah.
They're not going to block. We can't block. It doesn't matter. Might as well attack.
Yep, might as well attack, yeah. The thing about cut that I didn't want to use it is, well, one, it's drawing an extra card. Oh, I'm ecstatic about that. Yeah,
agreed.
Please don't kill me.
All right, yeah. We don't really care that much about this.
Yeah. Like, it's annoying, right? Because now they get to crack their clues and whatever, but I still think we're in really good shape.
Yeah. All right, they're coming in for 1, poison, cracking a clue.
Not surprising. Yeah, I think we just do the same thing where play Beanstalk, Murderous Cut. Oh,
That's pretty good. I mean,
is that better?
I think it's better because we could play out the Delta, and we could just hit this clue. I mean, it's like -1 card, or we could bring back the Wasteland again. I think bringing back Wasteland is fine.
I want to play up Beanstalk and do the cut play because then we see 2 more cards to look at.
Yeah. All right.
Look at like Days, Force of Will, stuff like that.
Beanstalk resolves. We draw. We found a Daze, which is amazing. Now I'm going to go get an Underground Sea.
Yes, because we want to work towards this Mystic Sanctuary.
Cut here.
Yep, so just leave the Wasteland and spells.
2, 3, 4.
Yep, perfect.
All right, draw trigger. Man, I would not want to play against this deck if I were playing Infect. This has got to be like one of the better, one of the worst matchups for them. Oh, I should have attacked there. Sorry, that was loose.
It's fine. It's fine. A little bit, but it's fine. Yeah. Infect is definitely not one of like the most meta decks right now, but I have definitely thought at times like, okay, if I could pick a deck to face like 10 rounds in a row in a 10-round tournament, it'd probably be Infect.
Yeah.
With this list. Obviously, you don't win 100% of the matches, but
I mean, just having Witherbloom and having Orcish Bowmasters is just like so many answers to their X1s. Yeah, and the sad thing about being an Infect player is like they're never going to print more Infect creatures. Like probably they had like Toxic and stuff. Like I feel like Wizards is just allergic to it. Yeah. We just do we want to stop this to prevent her from flipping? I guess we want her to flip because we Witherbloom her.
Yeah, we have the command.
Yeah. So our opponent may think this is favorable for them, but it actually makes things worse for them.
It does, yeah. And here I think we just kill the Noble and the Tamiyo.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Right. Pendlehaven does make it.
Doesn't work on. Yeah. Okay, so now we kill the Glistener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're down to 1 card. Yeah. So I'm feeling pretty good here. I'll just go ahead and go green, black. I'm just going to do quickly. Yep. Cast. We're going to destroy the permanent, and we're going to kill that.
Yep. And then I think we cycle the Lorien Revealed for Mystic Sanctuary and play out the Tamiyo.
Yeah. They're invigorating. That's just Days. Yeah.
All right, so now I wouldn't do the cycling just yet.
They're hellbent, and we just dealt with almost all their board.
Yep. And then I would just play out the Trop, play the Tamiyo. I would not flip it yet.
Yeah. I almost never flip her proactively, but like in this situation, like I always like to get at least 1 clue before I flip her.
Yeah.
We can't attack there.
I think we could have attacked there.
Well, they had the Tamiyo trigger, so we couldn't have attacked.
Oh, right. Sorry. You're right. No, you're right. That's fine. And I'm blocking with Tamiyo, and then if they try to pump, we can just flip it.
Yeah, that sounds great. 7 minutes on the clock. I'm much more worried about the clock than I am about losing to Infect at this point.
I agree.
All right, another Hierarch is fine.
Yep. I'm cycling for Sanctuary here.
Yeah, let's do it.
And then I'm going to Sanctuary back to command, and then attack with Tamiyo, crack the clue, and then command the Noble and the clue.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we attack with both things.
Our opponent may have stepped away or something.
Maybe
they actually have another Invigorate, and they're thinking about killing, but they can only kill our Orc army. I'm not sure what they could be thinking about here.
Noble notably does not have reach.
Although they can give it reach with Legolas but they don't have the mana. But that's yet another card on that ability on that card. That card is just amazing. Amazing card. I remember there's this guy, I think his name's like Fenris Cloud, and he plays Infect. And the second that card was spoiled, he just pre-ordered like 4 of the, commander sets or whatever that had it. And he's just like, $80, I got him.
Yeah, it does slot right into Infect. It is kind of the perfect card. And it also, first of all, it's powerful. And then, second of all, it tells you it lets you know if your opponent's hand has removal or not, because when the card exists, you have to use removal at sorcery speed. So if they don't do that, it kind of gives you indication that they don't have a way to stop that. Yep.
Right, 23 life. They can't go aggro with the Noble Hierarch. And they
It'd be very tough.
land. Yeah. I mean, we could just flip Tamio and then the following turn, with a bloom again.
I would like to attack the brains.
Or we could just... I guess I could have played that out.
I actually think we don't need more mana sources, and we can just look to shuffle that away. That's fine. We have the brainstorm for that. Yeah, you might as well do it now.
Wow. Force is good. We'll shuffle that away.
I'd put a carpet and that's fine, Tamio. Yep. And then play out the land.
So her power is doubled to 0. Post combat.
Yeah. And I would plus and then crack the clue and then pass.
So we're going to redraw Tamio before we shuffle, just to have a blue card to go with force.
Exactly. Yeah. The addition of Tamio, I think, made this matchup even worse for Infect.
Yeah. They can't attack here. I think you
can just fatal push this.
Again, we're just trying to make sure we end the game in time. That's the only thing we're really concerned about here, because they're hellbent.
Yeah, then we can fetch the Surveil land.
Right.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's removal.
Yeah. Do we have a Lorien in the graveyard?
We do. You want to go ahead and draw it?
Let's just do that. Yeah, why not?
We get Lorien. We're just trying to get to our win con.
Mark side, basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
Draw 4 cards. No, the Bowmasters is fine. Okay, we did get the thing. We just want to hang this back and defend to Tamio.
I think so,
yeah.
Yeah.
Under 5 minutes on the clock, but I think we'll be able to end the game pretty quickly with Murktide.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, I'm probably not even playing the Beanstalk next turn. I'm just casting the Murktide.
Yep. Let's do it. We could go ahead and just ping this.
Sure.
Just to make sure that they're not going to be able to interact, and then we can...
Yeah, we can see what the last card is, potentially. True, because if it's Force a Will, then we get rid of that.
They could use Legolas Quick Reflex. Well, it wouldn't have any power, so it wouldn't be able to kill anything.
Yeah.
Let's go to combat. We're making lots of random observations as our time ticks down. I get serious time anxiety because I'm, a control player, and then when I'm having to narrate all my moves and also deliberate on all those moves, if you want to, I don't know, if you get a chance to watch a single video by me, this goes for you, Pokemoki, and for everybody listening, watch the episode that I published last week with Jorge Chica on Kirinat, because that was so anxiety. Several of those games went down to the last minute. Murktide really big.
Sounds good.
Draw a card here.
Yep.
All right, and we already plus. We'll pass. They're dead in 2 turns. It's difficult to imagine what they could draw, but they're playing it out, which is fine.
Yeah.
Okay, and we got it. So we're 3-0-6-0. We haven't dropped a game. Feeling pretty good, man. Beanstalk may be back. We have gotten some pretty favorable matchup. This is an incredibly favorable matchup. This is the 90, not maybe 90-10, but close. Yeah. So
I agree though.
Yeah.
But as you said, I think Painter's a pretty close matchup, and then we did run into Nadu, which even if it's favorable, it is popular, so it's a good showcase of the deck.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say both of those first rounds were maybe 50-50, maybe even slightly unfavorable with Painter, but that last one was definitely just easy street as far as matchups are concerned. So yeah, I'm excited. We'll be right back for round 4 with Pokemoki. So round 4, we're up against Bob Buttons, who mainly plays, historically he's always played Bug Beans, but he's switched to Oops All Spells. And we can see he's been playing that the past few days. So we're going to have to channel.
So one really quick thing. This is a 61 card Oops All Spells list. So we can just see how many cards he's presenting at the start of the game to know if he's on that or not.
It looks like he's on 60. Are you sure this is 61?
Okay.
Is this one 61?
Oh, you're right. It's not. Okay.
Yeah,
Some
I
let's play
think
61.
Oops has switched away from the 61 card. I haven't seen 61 card Oops in a while, but that is a good heuristic.
I think it's smart for them to.
I think we keep this. I mean, this is a force hand. It's about the best we can
I would
hope
keep
for.
this. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
other than your 2 Nile Spell Bombs, there's not really much else that you need for this matchup or would hope to draw. Especially because we don't know. Like, they could just be a control deck, in which case we want the Bowmaster. All right, cool. Now we know. And I think we just get to ponder here.
Yeah.
Obviously, if we draw Wasteland, we'll just snap that off instead. But, you know.
All right. I'm going to grab a Underground Sea, Ponder.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, look for Daze.
Yeah, I think Daze is by far our best card that we can find off this Ponder.
Yeah, because we don't have another blue card, unfortunately. Unlucky.
That's pretty freaking good. Yeah, we don't care about this up the Beanstalk, but we're going to keep.
That's the problem, right? Well, are we keeping? Because it's like...
I think we do, because, I mean, if you think about it, like...
We're drawing 2 dead cards, though.
But the Swamp is not dead in the sense that we need mana to be able to advance our game state. Orcish Bowmasters kill slowly, but it does kill.
None of the cards in our hand that we can cast with the Swamp are good is part of the issue.
I feel like we do need it...
I want to shuffle this.
Okay, well,
I could see.
I'll defer to your judgment, but I was thinking like, oh yeah, like we don't care about the Beanstalk right now, but it can help us like after if there's an initial force war, like just having a Bowmasters in play, hitting them. It's like a if they shock in a land or bolt in a land, I guess is the more accurate way.
If this was green and could cast Beanstalk, I would say snap it up, but I actually think this is just a mulligan.
Okay. We're going to shuffle.
It is tough, right? Because it's like, as you say, Daze is one of the cards we're looking for.
They almost never just have one. You almost always want to have 2 forms of interaction, but I hear you.
Daze is not the best interaction. I think because it's like we're drawing so dead after that. I think we need to try and hit like Wasteland or Nile Spellbomb is my thought. Or shuffle into another Daze, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just have multiple spirit guides. That's fine. This one we can beat.
I don't think they ever keep a hand without a win con.
Yeah, like I think they're just working to a spot where they can play around Daze is also part of the issue.
Yeah, I think we just have to go to discard and we push, drop a push.
Yeah,
maybe drop Shielder's Edict since we can't even cast it. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Edict's fine to drop.
So they're going to know that we have force because we wouldn't have kept this hand without force.
Yeah, we did shuffle off Ponder, but I agree. I think,
Okay, and now Daze would not have helped us here.
Exactly, yes. Daze probably wouldn't have helped because they would have been able to play around it fairly easily.
Yeah. And just real quick, I passed priority, so it's too late. But there is an argument for like forcing to show strength, but maybe that actually was the play.
Is, but if you draw another Force of Will, it feels really bad that you've wasted your only blue card.
Yeah. And they may not have the mana to go off immediately, so we may get a tiny window.
Yeah, maybe.
But now they're going to know that they do need to actually like crack like. They don't want to play out the guy and expose him to being pushed.
Do it all, yeah. Yeah, like they couldn't just play out the 3-mana 1 with no way to use it.
It's looking like we're probably going to be dead. And again, I want to point out that the Daze would not have helped at all here. Okay, we did get a second land, but I don't think it's going to matter. I'm going to play it out.
Probably not. I mean, we play it still, and we can play the Bowmaster, but you are right. It's not going to matter.
And we can take a look at their graveyard before we concede. I don't believe Bowmaster can do anything. Bowmaster can like do some cool tricks, but it shouldn't matter. They should have a clean Narcomoeba line.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. If we ping one of the Narcomoebas.
Yeah, let's see if there's a bridge in the graveyard, right? Though. So it doesn't quite work.
Let's think about this. So how many bridges are there? Because we have two removal spells.
We only have one.
No, we can push and then we can also cut. Oh, you're right. We only have one black source. You're right.
Yeah. But you are correct that we could potentially have like pushed an Narcomoeba and then cut a token and maybe got there. I don't think it works with They play the Poxwalkers card now. So
Let's go ahead and take a
don't think
look at the list. I'm going to pop it out.
Yeah,
and
yeah. Let's see
we
if they
can
play
talk about that
Forcible
list
or
for a
not.
second. When you're playing Oops, like, I'm sorry, but like, you can't get upset that people are like taking a long time to look at your deck because they know that they don't have the time
Different
constraint.
builds too. Yeah.
Let's see. So it looks like they have one therapy, two therapies.
Yeah, 2 therapies.
Other notable things, there are just 2 Narcomoebas, which is potentially exploitable.
They could have one in hand, but yes,
Yeah.
I agree. Potentially. Is there a Poxwalkers do you see in here at all? I mean, it's probably in hand.
Yeah,
otherwise, right?
let me take a quick look. I
Yeah.
know it's hard
But I
enough.
think
We're
good.
Pokey's watching through a Zoom screen share, so his resolution's even lower. Yes, there is one Poxwalkers that I see, and only one bridge. So one of the things that is kind of cool is, okay, how about this? If they
let's discuss this all.
if they Thoughtseize, can't I poke my own Bowmaster and then they don't get the or
Well, they would, but they get the Poxwalkers back anyway, so it just doesn't matter.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think we just concede here. But I do like that we're taking the time to think about every possible combination.
Yeah, you got to reduke it, right? Don't want to just give up
Sometimes,
your free wins that you could have had. And they're not free, but they're hard work. But yeah. So now they don't know what we're doing because we're taking a long time.
Yeah.
But they do have 0. Yeah, they're gonna win here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can concede.
They will.
Okay. I don't want to let it go. Okay, yeah.
It feels close. It feels like we're close to being able to potentially do something, right? But we're not. So
yeah. Okay. So let's go to sideboarding, and I can already tell you that we have lots of good tools to bring in here.
We have some good
Cage comes in.
Yep.
Veil seems
Veil
pretty good.
The consigns come in, and then we have enough to cut that I like bringing in the Harbingers.
Okay, interesting.
It's a blue card for starters, and if you survive to it, it does kind of reduce them to Lotus Petal as their only way to win the game.
Mm-hmm. So cards that come out are spot removal. Basically, we just take it all out.
Yeah. Yep. You can get rid of all that stuff.
Okay.
You can get rid of the cuts as well.
And that is 7 for 7.
Yeah, I think we can cut 1 Dismember, 1 Witherbloom command, and just bring in the Hydroblasts as blue cards.
Yeah, we could do that. I was thinking yeah, that's fine. I was thinking is Bowmasters worth bringing in at any point?
I don't think so. 2 is fine.
Yeah.
It's not really about that. It's just about not dying.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I mean, they don't ever cast draw spells or anything like that. I'm just thinking in terms of being able to remove their bridge. But by the time you get there, you're pretty screwed anyway.
It's tough, right? You would need to. That works well when you also have removal, which we're cutting. So
yeah. All right, so Dream Hand would be Fairy and a Force, or since we're on the play, the Spellbomb's quite good.
This is better.
Yeah, I think we just play the Spellbomb.
Spellbomb and pass. And then we have to win Game 3 on the draw, which is the tough one.
Shout out to Bob Buttons for just continuing. Obviously he's not playing Sultai Beans right now, but he did play it well into the Frog era. He never really gave up on it. So yeah, that is cool to see him repping. Not right now. Again, he switched to this degeneracy, but yeah,
appreciate it. Yeah,
because I would frequently go up against him, and he's a very good Bug Beans player.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you've played against him as well?
I think so. His name rings a bell.
All right, so do we want to waste them on this land, or what are you thinking here?
I'm going to wasteland and play out Tamiyo.
Yeah, let's do it. Is there anything that they have that can likely stop this?
So the cards that people play are Force of Vigor is one. Sometimes people play Force of Will with the blue when they have the blue MDFCs. We didn't see any of the green MDFCs, so I think we can rule out Force of Vigor. One card we would need to be a little bit cognizant of is Yeah, play land attack. Sorry.
Yeah, and
We
I
might need
think
to
we
be a
just
little
crack the
cognizant.
clue in the end step, and we just chill.
Yes.
That way we have consign up.
Yes. Yeah, Goblin Charbelcher is another card that sometimes people play as like a pivot, so it's like we should be a little bit aware of that, but our game plan also doesn't change, which means consign's a little bit better.
Yeah. By the way, if you hear some background noise, my kids just got home from the last day of school for the calendar year.
It's very exciting. Yeah, this is my last day of work as well. I'm taking time off afterwards.
Awesome. Well, that's a good draw.
Yeah.
We just swing in and we just keep managing them, basically. Is there any reason to
I would
move?
ponder here. I'm fine with pondering here and then cracking to flip the Tameo just because,
Yeah.
it's nice to be able to get Force of Will back right away. Yeah. Yep, that's fine. Yeah, we can just get a trop. And then this is one, it doesn't matter for this matchup at all, really, but just as a general, when you can choose to use the Verdant, that's the best one to use and not have in the deck because Verdant can't get...
Can't get your basic island.
Sanctuary.
Okay. Well, I'll keep that.
Well, the Verdant can't get Mystic Sanctuary.
Yeah.
So...
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. So they're shocking it in. This could be...
I mean, I think we can let that happen.
Yeah, this could be the Charbelcher.
True, yeah. If they have like Charbelcher, Pact plus, 3 more mana, either like LED or whatnot, we could have just lost. But
well, yeah. I mean, I'm not arguing that we would ever counter that Dark Ritual. I don't think that'd be correct. They do have a lot of mana now.
Yeah.
This is the Spy. Is there any reason to stop this? Because we can stop the actual...
reason to not force this?
So my thinking...
I think I want to just force of will this.
Well, my thinking is if we let them empty their yard, even if they use the mana with the pumpkin thing, the jack-o'-lantern, to put the cards back on top, they're still going to die in their upkeep if they had to pact, and we can just force that jack-o'-lantern effect. But I guess we're going to regrow this force anyway.
Yeah, I kind of just want to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, pitch the Murktide.
And next turn, we do have Harbinger, and we can get back the force, thus cutting them off more colors. Oh, they have force of their own. Interesting.
Okay. I guess we let this resolve, right? And then we
exile the
spell
pact.
bomb them.
Yeah. So now this comes in.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably going to use the jack-o'-lantern trick, I guess, to put some stuff on top.
Yeah.
Right? Narcomoebas. Do we want to hit it with the Narcomoebas on the stack?
Yes, because we don't want the Narcomoebas in play.
And now's their opportunity to jack-o'-lantern.
Yep.
But we have that, a lot of stuff covered that they can do with jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah. Oh, they must...
They must have accidentally passed priority.
Oh, they have Oracle in hand.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Wow. I can't believe we lost to that. Bob Budson's.
Yeah.
Continuing to amaze. Oh, man. See, had we not forced that, they would have had the force anyway. So it wouldn't have mattered. Wow. They found the line.
I mean, we could have let them consign, but they had to have a very, very specific set.
Yeah, well, next time I'm just going to hold up consign. Now having seen this very specific line, they have 0 card selection. They have 1 Oracle in their deck. This is like a really perfect confluence of things that needed to happen for them to win this game. Now, even if we won this, we would have had to win the other one, which is a lot harder to do on the draw. But shout out to Bob Buttons for outsmarting both of us. Yeah,
I wouldn't say outsmarted. I think.
Well, I mean,
he just got very lucky.
I don't know that he got very lucky. Like, he got lucky to get this in his hand, but
well, I mean, they also at the top deck a Black Source and then have double Ritual, Force Blue card, Oracle in hand, plus a payoff. So.
Well, from now on, I'm just going to hold up consign and assume that because we were in an extremely dominant position, there was no reason we had to proactively flip Tommy. I think we could have hung back because consign definitely counters the trigger, and we had the Nile Spellbomb and we had a force in hand. We could have just played safe. So I understand that, yes, it's one thing to say he had luck. He had everything come together for him, But at the same time, I do think that like had this been on our bingo card as something that could potentially happen, then we could have just been more slower. We could have slow rolled it. Yeah, I thought the game was basically over too.
I think I'm just not playing around like a 7-card combo of like top deck a black starter, have 6 mana plus a payoff, have a force, and have the Oracle in hand. I don't think it's worth playing around. I think it's better to just start getting your Tamiyo going so that you can use it to like recur Ponders and Force of Wills. But
well, yeah. I mean, if you think about this matchup, like I apologize if I'm like playing the devil's advocate or pushing too hard but I do think this is an important thing to discuss.
Yeah, I agree.
It doesn't cost us a whole lot to just hang back in the sense that we've got basically infinite time on the clock, and it doesn't matter. Like we could kill them on turn 25 or something like that, and we still have plenty of time for game 3. The fact that we had the consign and we tapped out of it, I mean, technically it was a 6 card. Was it a 7 card? Like, I guess because they drew the card for turn. But if they can do like this comes up a lot of times with breakfast as well. Like they may find some squirrely kind of route out, and when you have like additional answers, I don't know. It's like the precautionary principle. Like we could just chill and play extremely paranoid, even though we're incredibly far ahead.
It's close. I think you would have to conclude that you're just as likely to win versus the rest of their possible draws by not flipping Tamiyo before deciding that it's correct to leave up consign, which may or may not be true.
I mean, if we waited a couple more turns, we still could have flipped Tamiyo. We didn't have to flip that particular turn.
You might have been right there. I could actually see that. Yeah, I think you might be right that it's just like this is like their 0.25% of their draw, but I think if we consider the other 99.7 percent of their draws,
I'm not sure that it's that low. The odds of them having just a given card like Oracle in hand are not that low, and they just need they could have packed it there instead of forced, right? Like any pact would have done that because they won the same turn. So they packed and they forced and they pitched the pact. So really, if you think about it, it's probably closer to like a 6 card or even maybe a 5 card combo.
Yeah, so it's like they need to draw a black source, and then they need to have 6 total mana in hand, and a payoff, and a piece of counter magic, and the Oracle. So I think that when you obviously it's too difficult of a math problem for us to do right now.
1, 2, 3, so 3 mana, and then so they just need 5 mana, and then they also need a blue source. Yeah, I mean, we could actually calculate this with the hypergeometric calculator, multiply the possibilities together. But I'd venture to say that it is probably slightly greater than 1%. I don't think it's less than 1% that they could have had that come together. So if it's within 3 standard deviations, I think you could play around it. Like it's kind of free to play around it.
Yeah.
But again, you're also trading your mental sanity. Like you have a bunch of more matches, and are you really going to spend a 25-minute surgical oops game when it could be a non-game and your opponent's just not resigning for some reason?
That's fair. All right, so I think we keep this. Opponent usually plays Eldrazi. We have Witherbloom Command for the Chalice. We have Murderous Cut.
I agree. If you're confident they're on Eldrazi, this is a snap keep.
Yep, I think it's fine. But yeah, so I think I do want to go back to the decision we just made. First, oops. Because I think you have a point where it's maybe it's slightly more than 1%, but to me it's 2% versus 1% versus 0.5% is not a big difference to me. What's important to me to think about is, did we gain equity? That's fine. Versus the other 98% of their draws. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's if we didn't gain anything versus the rest of their deck, then it was just worse to lose versus that 2 to 1 to 0.5% chance. And I think that's a more important thing to think about than the actual nitty gritty of, was it 0.5%? Was it 2%? But it is useful to think about. We have a tough one here because like we might not want to play into Wasteland, but
I think we do play in a Wasteland because we want to get rid of this. This is a mana source, and we want to be able to get a land back. And if they have Wasteland, we have a second Ponder to go get a second island we have a second fetch.
Yep. And I'm fine getting the Trop and Pondering.
Okay.
Off of Verdant.
You said always use Verdant first. So we'll hem closely. We'll hew closely to your guidance on that.
Sure.
All right. Force seems good.
Yeah, I like
Bowmasters doesn't really matter that much. I'd rather have the land. So
I'd rather have the Bowmasters because we're going to command back a land, assuming everything goes well.
Yeah.
Bowmasters can like keep the One Ring in check. If they play that, it can trade with a Fleshbreaker that attacks.
Yeah, that's a good observation. I'm not used to Eldrazi opponents playing the One Ring, but I guess some of them are now.
Yeah, it's only like a 2-of, but it's like a 2-of in most lists.
Okay, here comes Thought-Knot Seer, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can't counter it, so let's see what they take.
Yeah.
I mean, Withered Bloom is probably the thing they take. Murderous Cut does answer that and get us a card back.
Yeah,
well,
I think they would take Murderous
It's a little bit frustrating. That's probably the best way to encapsulate the entire Eldrazi experience. I was playing in paper last night and, of course, got like both games, or all 3 games, I think I got 2 lands taken care of with one uncounterable spell.
Interesting. Yeah. So here I would definitely hit the mana.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah, if they have another Thought-Knot Seer, then it's a little bit annoying. But I think setting up our mana is important, and cutting them off their mana is also important.
Okay, so we're going to mill ourselves, and we are going to hit that Talisman.
Yep.
Okay, and do you want to get the island or just a fetch?
No, let's just get back to Delta. Play around the Wasteland a bit.
Okay. All right. Thought-Knot Seer's coming in for a hug.
Yeah.
I
like that way of describing it.
Yeah, I mean, this is I don't know. Like, I always like to just focus on the positive, and like that help, like little words like that help me stay positive and alert.
Yeah.
So we do have.
Actually, so don't play your land yet. I think we want to cut this, and because we could draw Wasteland, right?
Well, do we want to ponder first to see if we can find a Wasteland?
No, because if we draw like a 2...
Well, we're not going to draw off a cut because we don't have the beans in play.
No, the Thought-Knot Seer will die.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I want to cut this paying the full 4. And then if we draw Wasteland, it's good to play it. Otherwise, we can ponder for Wasteland.
All right.
Yep, perfect.
Yeah, we'll just get rid. So we draw. We didn't get Wasteland.
And here I'm just going to ponder. Yeah.
Consign seems pretty damn good. Like the fact that you have the main deck Consign.
Yeah. I would draw that and just play out the Underground Sea.
All right.
Yep. Obviously draw the Brainstorm afterward.
All right. And this doesn't necessarily stop the Eldrazi creatures, but it does stop the Cosmic Command, which I don't know whether they even cast that right now, but it's just notable.
Yeah, they know we have days, which I think makes that worse for them.
There's their Wasteland.
It is.
Okay, no play. Interesting. They may do upkeep.
They might.
All right. Well, interesting.
So now we have. Well, wait. Let's. They
have what is it called? Devourer of Destiny in hand.
Yes. Yeah, they're working towards that. I want to brainstorm here. I still want to try and find a Wasteland potentially.
Yeah, let's do it. And we can shuffle with this if we don't want to make our land drop for some reason.
Yeah, I would. So I think we put back the Misty for sure. And then we might just put back a Force of Will.
Yeah,
what is it doing for us?
I'm okay with that.
At the Cavern. Yeah, I kind of like this.
Then we just play a land, and then we can hold up like Consign with like lots of like we stop triggers and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we have end step Bowmasters.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of mana disruption out. This is the Thought-Knot Seer that we can't counter. We can counter the ability, but is that worth doing?
No, I think you just let this happen, and then. Oh, actually, that's close, huh?
Because I mean, we essentially can preserve whatever's in our hand if we do this way. Otherwise, they'll just take our best card, and then we.
Yeah, so like it forces them. Okay, yeah, we actually should, I believe. Yeah, we should have. So one thing we should have definitely done is put the land on top of the Force of Will because we want to cast this Lorien Revealed next turn. But regardless, yeah. So we are supposed to consign this trigger.
All right.
Oh no. It's on the stack. Oh no, it's on the stack.
Oh,
so
yeah,
we need
yeah.
to let it resolve.
Yeah, sorry.
And consign the trigger.
Yeah.
You're fine. And then we gotta just fetch for a surveil land at the end of the turn and hope to find another land.
Wow, that was lucky.
Yeah, keep that on top. Yep. And then we don't need to fetch it because they have the Avamaya, which is relevant because we could draw like Brainstorm.
That's a good point. I take damage. All right, we did find a Wasteland, which will be useful next turn, but for now we're going to chill. Murktide is a great card in the matchup. They do have Devourer of Destiny that we need to worry about, though.
Yeah, that's the problem. We do know they have Devour.
And they're playing very patiently. Usually Eldrazi just like jam stuff on the table, but they are just chilling.
Yeah.
They're not even wasting us, which is really interesting.
Yeah, I think they're just working up to that Devour. Yeah, so here I'm just going to...
I think we just waste the Cavern, right?
Yeah, it's close.
I think if we waste the Cavern, then well, I'm sorry, what did you say?
I think I just want to waste the Temple.
So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So wasting this will keep them off of resolving the thing.
Yeah.
For a turn.
Yeah.
Okay, they're floating. This could mean that they have the spell. I'm going to go ahead and pass to force them to use it. Okay.
And then I think I'm just using the Witherbloom command to drain them for 2 and recur the Wasteland.
I agree with that play 100%.
Yep. And then I'm also fine to use the Bowmaster to start chump blocking the Thought-Knot Seer.
Feels good to resolve a Witherbloom again. It's been a while.
Right? We've already played land for turn. Yeah. I don't think you can risk the Murktide this turn because
I'm definitely not going to risk it in light. But next turn we'll get rid of the Cavern, or we'll get rid of the Ancient Tomb maybe.
It depends what land they play. Yeah, I would play the Bowmaster here and start jumping.
Yeah. And the great thing is that like when they use K command, if they use it to draw cards, then we get another chumper.
Yeah, we might force it because it's the only thing our force can hit right now, besides Chalice.
We'll now I think we have to hit the Ancient Tomb. If we hit the Ancient Tomb, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
They're going ahead and doing this, and now we can do the Murktide.
Yep.
Okay. So we thinking waste Murktide?
Yeah. Waste the Tomb, play the Murktide. And then make it as big as possible. Hope they don't have, another thing.
I'm trying to think if there's a consign might be worth keeping in the yard.
Yeah, consign's worth keeping. Witherbloom command's worth keeping. Yeah, because like if we draw a cantrip next turn, we have lethal, right? Because we can put back Witherbloom command.
Yeah.
With the Sanctuary and then use it.
That's a great observation.
Yeah, we have a lot of outs.
But if they have a second, that doesn't matter.
It stops us from attacking right now, unfortunately. Well, assuming we don't draw a cantrip or a way to pump Murktide, Cantrip wins, Murderous Cut wins, Beanstalk wins, Murktide wins. I guess Fatal Push also wins, right? Because we can fetch to kill the Thought-Knot Seer and draw whatever we put on top of Sanctuary. All right, we've got outs. Come on, deck.
Right.
Most non-lands win.
Yeah, let's draw it. Oh, Beanstalk.
All right, that works. Yep.
Does this
so
wins?
Here, yes. So you put back either Murderous Cut or Witherbloom command, and then you draw it with Beanstalk, and then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So and they've only got one Wasteland, so we can just fetch and get another land if we need to. Wait, do we have another Underground Sea in the deck that we can get? We do.
Well, it doesn't matter. You can just float mana.
No, I was thinking like they could take us off the trigger.
No, they can't. So
We've
it's
got
not
we've got enough lands. Never mind. So I'll just put
yeah. Once it enters untapped, even if they wasteland you, the trigger still happens.
yeah. Oh, okay, good.
Yes, put it on top. Draw it with Beanstalk, and then I would delve and kill the Thought-Knot Seer. Yeah, you gotta let the trigger resolve.
Oh yeah. We'll just go ahead and delve everything away.
Yeah, I would just max delve here.
1, 2, 3, 4. Just delve everything.
Yep.
And just in case they have like dismember or something. I mean, we have a force anyway, but
yeah, I agree.
okay. Triggers.
You gotta click the Beanstalk first, or you want to put the
our
Beanstalk
opponent
on
is
the back.
resigned. The game, I believe.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Wow. Great job seeing that line. Yeah.
Yep. And so that's kind of like the synergies we were talking about, right? Where it's like Murderous Cut synergizes really well with Murktide and with Mystic Sanctuary.
I mean, this card just soloed them. Like, I just want to take a moment to sing the praises of Murktide. Like, first of all, it's an 8/8 for 2 mana, but it has an additional ability that just makes it even bigger later. It's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a matchup where, like, I mean,
I want Command as a way to hit Chalice and recur Wastelands. I want
Harbinger
both Consigns
and
both
the
Harbingers.
Yeah.
Yep.
And these are what they're for.
Yep.
And then cards that are coming out days. Do you take out days on the draw?
It's close. So I think we start by cutting the Spell Bombs. And then I would cut one Tamiyo because it's a little bit slow and bad against Chalice.
Yep.
And then we can think here. Because, like, Narset is a little bit slow and vulnerable to getting attacked.
I think Narset's an easy cut. Yeah, in my mind.
Yeah, we can cut Narset
because
first.
I mean, she doesn't stop anything their deck does, and she's just gonna get killed. And it's paying like
it does fine like Consigns and Witherbloom commands, but
I mean, you're paying 3 mana to cantrip basically.
Yeah. Do you mind if we leave it in? I kind of want to see how it plays.
Yeah, we can leave it in for sure. I mean, and then intuitively it seems bad, but
I think it's not great, but I want to try it. I have not played it into Eldrazi yet. I could see it being good where it's like, okay, you've stabilized a bit. You play it on 4 mana. You find a consign. You consign.
Thoughtseize on the draw against an aggro deck feels bad.
I like Thoughtseize just because it answers the Eldrazi plus the cast trigger, if you think of it that way. And they're not really an aggro deck anymore. They're definitely a little bit more mid-rangey.
Okay. Well, we've got 48 seconds to decide what we're going to cut then.
Yeah. All right, let's cut the Tamiyo in 1 days and call it a day.
Right. Yeah. Interesting, like, observation about them not really being an aggro deck anymore.
Yeah, like, when you think about, like, oh, Consign is so good because, you know, I can pay 3 mana to stop, like, both cast triggers on Sowing Mega Spawn plus the Mega Spawn. And, like, Thoughtseize kind of does that for 1 mana instead of 3. Obviously, they don't have to spend their 6 mana on their turn, and you're losing 2 life, so it's not free, but
this is a mulligan.
Like, obviously, yeah. Unfortunate.
This is pretty bad.
This is pretty bad, but I think we still keep it and just bottom of Murktide.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this, like, dismembering like a Thought-Knot Seer or something feels pretty terrible. Now they're once upon a time on top of their Devour. Some serious selection.
Yeah, Wizards decided that Ancient Tomb decks should not be inconsistent anymore, and so that's what they did.
Yeah,
with Modern
well, I mean, the Kozilek's Command just being able to scry, like stack their deck basically.
Oh yeah, I know. It's crazy how much consistency the Ancient Tomb decks have gotten over the past 6 months. We'll say. I think the Ring plays into that too, where it's just like you just never run out of things to do.
Yeah. I mean, for the first 30 years of Magic's history, blue was the most powerful color, but now the most powerful color is colorless.
Yeah. Yeah. Can we see what they exiled with
Yeah, absolutely. So they put
or the other one.
Devour. Oh wait, this is revealed, sorry. They exiled Thought-Knot and a Once and a Wasteland.
All right. I think we can ponder here.
We definitely want to find more land.
It's kind of nice to know that they're down 1 Wasteland.
More islands.
That like feels good to see.
This seems
I think this is everything we want. Yeah.
I mean, we don't really care about the Fatal Push, but we definitely like we want to be able to Lorien to get a land and then try to resolve a Harbinger, but that's a 2-turn line.
It is. So yeah, what I'm doing is I'm drawing Lorien and Harbinger and not drawing the Fatal Push.
Okay.
because we don't even have Revolt for it.
I'm gonna put the Harbinger on top just because if they do Thought-Knot Seer somehow this turn, like I don't think they're likely to take the Lorien. They're not likely to realize its significance.
It's actually not that irrelevant. Like, we have the basic swamp already. That's all we need.
Yeah. Grim Monolith. Interesting. I haven't seen this in a while in Eldrazi.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well,
I think
let's go ahead and draw here, and we just play
I
the
think
swamp?
you just need to play the Bayou. No, you can't play the swamp because we know about the sowing mecha spawn, so we're just dead if that's what they do.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think you just play this.
But the sowing mecha spawn was exiled. It's not. Wait, they revealed that? Oh
No,
yeah, they did reveal it. They did reveal it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I got confused. Okay, so we're just gonna chill and we'll end step Lorien.
Yeah, we're not in good shape right now. We could just say. I think we just get the hedge maze. That is actually one
they can
option
untap this and actually it like completely invalidates our Harbinger as well.
It does. Hopefully we find a Witherbloom command for that sort of thing, but I agree with you. What a card. Just turn 3 double Stone Rain, uncounterable.
Yeah. We will float, and it's in the exile.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, very heads up, like remembering that the sowing mecha is fine, because we would have totally.
Yeah.
Okay, and they're gonna try to burn this off. I don't think there's any.
I think you cycle.
We could cycle now.
I want to cycle and dismember. Yeah, I want to cycle and dismember. Why not? I want to fill up our graveyard so that we can potentially Murderous Cut.
Should we get the basic island or underground?
No, I want to get the hedge maze here. Because we need to draw another land.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, and then
I'm fine
go ahead and dismember.
It doesn't feel good. Yeah.
I mean, dismember is an R&D mistake too, though. To be fair, like I was pissed off when they printed that because I was like, colorless spells shouldn't have access to removal, but Wizards doesn't.
I can see this.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, we will get past personal pet peeves.
No, I agree. Mill this.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, they are kind of a control deck, so I'm gonna try to play a little faster because we're down to 12 minutes.
Oh, are we? Wow. Yeah, 12 minutes should be enough for a game. Like, if we have 10 minutes left for game 3, it should be okay.
Okay. Well, the good news is it's not kicked. But the bad news is we're going to lose our hedge maze anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. So they have late game.
A game plan.
I guess we've reached late game already.
We're just going to edict this and pass the turn.
Do we want to?
No. I would play the swamp and edict it and pass the turn.
Okay.
It's very important to keep the board clear when you're about to slam a Harbinger. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like Murktide.
Yeah, I mean, if they have a third Myco spawn. Yeah, I mean, like, if they have a third Myco spawn. Oh, you wanted to play the Murktide.
Yeah.
I think they're just so likely to have an answer to that.
And now we're kind of like, I'll be happy if they take the Harbinger. I'm almost certain they're going to take the Murktide here.
Yeah, I mean, well, they might just take the cut. I don't know.
I mean, Murktide, if they don't have an answer, Murktide just solos them. Like, Murktide is really hard for them to kill. Yeah, they took the Harbinger, which is good for us.
Yeah, because right now we can't do both right now, I don't think. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah.
So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If they untap this, they can potentially exile our Murktide.
Yeah, we'll see. We just don't have a lot of recourse is the issue.
Okay, they're using this now, which is great. But that means they probably have a second one. I can't think of why they would use it here this way, knowing that we have a Murktide coming.
I don't know.
Okay, the good news is they put both of their top on the bottom, so they don't have any good cards that we know of coming.
Yeah.
So my thinking is we could go ahead and Murktide here, and then they won't have the mana. They'd have to. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just Murktide here. I would delve all the cards,
okay.
Or I would pay.
We're not gonna have enough mana to cut anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, so we'll get rid of some land. Wait, are we
Yep.
just going to make it maximum size? I don't think there's a reason not to.
Sure, yeah.
They haven't done any damage to themselves, amazingly. Wait,
It's fine. Just cycle the Lorien, and then we're... I'd rather just do this and
Yeah.
focus on time.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, oops, I screwed up. We're not going to be able to cycle the Lorien, sorry.
It's not... Yeah, it really is not a big deal.
So they may have Devourer or Destiny, in which case I think we should probably just scoop.
Probably.
Yep.
We knew about Devourer, right? Yeah, let's just concede the game.
Yeah.
In the
Let's maximize the likelihood of getting a game 3 in. We're on the play.
Yeah.
Hopefully our hands will be a little more generous than they were that game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was tough. They had turn 3 sowing, and our hand was not great.
Okay, so
I think we run it back.
do we want to bring in an extra land just because they're hitting our land so hard? Do you think it makes sense to ever
Sure,
play
we
20?
could try that. We could try that. We could cut the other days.
Yeah. I mean, like the way they're playing, like they've never played into days that I saw. Like I never really saw any good opportunities. And also they had caverns both games. But
Yeah. And I would recommend taking off our end step stop. I think it adds time, and importantly, it adds like system lag, where it's like every time the client needs to come to you for priority, that adds like a second or two of lag to our turn cycle.
sure, you're saying for our turn.
For our turn, yeah. We don't do things in our end step very much, but we
Yeah, I never thought about that. That's a good point.
this hand is good. I would fetch for a trop and ponder.
Yeah, sounds good. This is a really strong hand. I like the potential for the Beanstalk to kind of finally come to the fore in this round.
Yep.
All right, so let's get the trop. I mean, these are really freaking good if we have more land, but I'm worried that they're going to waste us.
No, I think with the Lorien and the Beanstalk, I think we keep these.
Okay, you want to take one of each before we Lorien?
Yeah, one of each.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think we can take the stop off their main phase 1 as well.
All right. So this is all the stops you play with? Or do you like frequently turn them on and off?
Yeah, if I need to do something, then I'll add it back in, obviously.
So we're just going to get Underground Sea and Beanstalk here?
Yeah, Underground Sea, Beanstalk.
All right. Shieldred's Edict?
Yep, seems solid. I would...
Oh, sorry. They could be going to get a land. I've never forced one of those in my life.
I think in the end we don't. Yeah, I think in the end we don't do that, but
yeah,
this I am forcing.
Do we need to force this?
Yeah, I think so. You just play so many ones, and it draws a card.
All right.
Yeah, I would force that pitching the Brainstorm, and then next turn we can Island Cycle and play out Murktide. We could
invest another turn in another Beanstalk.
Yeah, I actually like that better.
All right, let's go ahead and cycle first, and then I'm going to cast.
Yep, I would get another Underground Sea.
Right, green.
Actually, sorry, I take that back. I do just want to play the Murktide. I think it cuts a turn off the clock, and they're so far away from being able to answer it.
Yeah. All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a 6/6.
Like we could just... I could see a world where we just play Harbinger next turn, and we don't... we don't have black mana, but who cares? You know?
Yeah. I mean, we've got Dismember anyway, right? We've got Removal even without black mana.
Exactly.
And I've beaten plenty of Eldrazi opponents down just with Harbinger by itself.
Mm-hmm.
This is Micah Spawn without the kick.
Yeah.
Cavern. Okay, that's scary because that tells me they may have Devourer, which would be a good answer to Murktide.
I mean, it would.
Oh, they have the freaking bounce guy.
Okay.
Yeah, that sucks. All right, so I still feel like, do we want to deploy the Harbinger and then cut, or are we going to go on a different plan?
I want to play the Beanstalk here.
Okay, do you want to try to find a wasteland?
Sure.
This first?
Yeah, that seems fine.
Okay, we got Bowmasters. which does
I might go for that.
surprise
Yeah,
trade.
just play a land past the turn. Yeah.
All right. And if the more we can unload these black cards from our hand, the less impacted we'll be by Harbinger later.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just
I'm
gonna
playing out the Bowcaster.
ping and block, just to reduce and kill.
Yeah. I would try to go for the. Yeah, you're right. No reason to play into Kozilek's command, I guess, would be the thought. Yeah, this is a tight game.
It won't be tight if we can just put Harbinger on the table. I think we'll be pretty favored.
I agree.
All right, they're just playing it out. Oh wait, they're getting rid of one of our beans. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean it replaced itself. It's fine.
Next turn we can cut. Oh, we don't have the mana to cut. Never mind. Oh no, they have this talisman. This is bad because now they have colorless. Even if we play the Harbinger.
Yeah, so I mean I think it means we're gonna look to win with Murktide rather than Harbinger.
Yeah, but I'm genuinely worried that they may have. Oh no, what is this? Oh, another chalice. Yeah. That's not that big of a deal.
It's not that big a deal.
Right. We need to fill our graveyard before we can win with Merc.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that one seems pretty good.
You want to go ahead and just play this out and see what the top card is?
Yeah, I think so.
Fatal Push.
In that, yeah.
Yeah.
They have a chalice
I mean,
in play.
it helps. Yeah, and chalice. Thanks for catching that. I think we can just Shield Edict and attack in. They may not sack this.
I think I just want to pay for
cut.
Yeah.
Hit this one?
The 3/3, obviously. Yeah, the 3-power one.
Okay, so we get the draw trigger here. Consign's a great pickup. We don't have mana for it yet, but we will later. I'm just going to pass.
Well, yeah. Yeah, so that's the thing. We're going to need to be able to play Murktide while holding up 2 mana. And then I think we'll be in good shape.
Agreed. Wow. They've got so much mana.
Yeah, I mean, if they have like Kozilek's command or whatever.
Oh.
I mean, so we can beat that. We can just dismember.
We can dismember and then we can shield it. Then the ward won't help them. But if they have any more cards, we're in trouble.
Yeah, well, sure.
Okay, so let's. Well, they don't have any more cards. They're hellbent. So we're just gonna go ahead and do this now.
Yep. No, you got to dismember first.
Dismember.
Yeah, I would pay 2 life for dismember. Not the 4. I'd pay 2 life.
Okay, play black, and then we'll just.
You have mana floating. You should use.
Okay, and now
and then,
I'll just edict it.
Yeah. If we could dodge for 1 turn, I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, but we can't do anything.
And then
here.
I want to brainstorm an end step just to fill up our graveyard.
Oh yeah, because of the graveyard. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, sorry.
Graveyard, right?
We can technically.
Okay, I think we
just go straight to the graveyard.
Yeah.
Just gonna do that now. Let's get it countered.
Yep.
Okay. Now we do have big Murktide, and we can also keep stuff out. I don't think the Harbinger matters here.
No, it doesn't. So I think I just attack for 1, full delve for Murktide, and leave up Consign.
Yep.
Where we can kick it through. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. This is full delve.
Yeah. Yep. Got to play a little quick, but
yeah,
I think we're in good shape.
Get a draw trigger. Witherbloom's great. But we're not going to do it now.
Turn,
we're going to be patient.
Yeah, but next turn we can kill the Chalice, mill 3, and then Murderous Cut something.
All right. Let's go ahead and do that. They have Iovugan activation up.
Yep.
So we'll go black, green, Witherbloom, and destroy the permanent.
Yep. So we mill 3, we kill their Chalice. Yeah, I would put the Misty in hand.
Okay. Now, do we want to Witherbloom again? Now that we have the Misty, that we can go get an island with. We could Witherbloom, and then if we find a wasteland, we could waste the eye.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's Witherbloom command right now.
And I'm just going to drain them. And mill. Does that work?
Sure. No, I want to kill the talisman.
Okay. let's do it. So I'll mill. I'll destroy a talisman.
Because now they have to use the Eye of again. Yeah, and then I'm playing the Misty so that we can get Sanctuary.
Okay.
And then we're just attacking.
Okay, they are going for Eye.
Yep.
They're going to get Devour, I presume.
I presume so as well.
Emrakul. Wow. That
well,
can't be countered.
We can stifle the extra turn. It's fine.
But can we win still?
We should be able to.
We have to attack around it. It's a 15-15.
Let's attack and think about it later.
I was just thinking, like, I could cut this and add like a bunch of extra power if that speeds up the clock. Is that useful? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They don't quite have enough to cast Emrakul, I don't believe.
Well, I mean, they will, but it's fine.
They will?
So this is 7.
Oh, this is the Promised End. Okay. This is different.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is not protection from everything, so we can just consign the trigger?
Yeah, you gotta stifle this. And what does this have protection? Like, we can't use instance on this, right?
Protection from instance. So we need to get back. Oh, there's nothing we can get back.
Yeah, well, I mean, so we get back. Okay, you gotta let it resolve.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it resolve. I'm just gonna go into the Mystic Sanctuary.
Yeah, get back like Witherbloom command, I guess.
Okay.
You give it -3/-1, and then we drain them for 2. And then we attack, and then we Murktide. Or we cut our Bowmaster.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you gotta... Yeah.
All right.
And then you can attack with both things. They block the Murktide, we cut the Bowmaster.
Yeah, and unfortunately, due to my play, sorry to everybody tuning in.
Fine.
We're not going to be able to finish this. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shot.
We just cut this. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, and then we would play out the Harbinger, and I think we would have probably won, but they could still top deck.
Yeah, I mean, they still have Eye of Ugin activations every turn. They have enough mana that
we
they
would play the Harbinger out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. We probably could have won this. So
yeah, I think we almost certainly win. Oh, well.
Yeah, I'll just F6 through their turn. And there's no way we're getting to an attack here.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, we're at 0 seconds.
Oh, well.
Man, that's a heartbreaker. Sorry. I appreciate you making the suggestion of turning off my stops. Yeah, if we just had maybe like an extra 30 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, I think
if I F6 right when I start, will I have time to attack? I don't think I will.
No, I don't believe.
But it still gives you an attack prompt, right?
It's fine. Yeah. I think even though on the board it doesn't show us having anything, I think we would have been in good shape. Yeah, I mean, the important thing is to showcase the deck, right?
Yeah.
And so I think we showcased how you can beat Eldrazi.
Yeah.
With enough. You do definitely need to slant your sideboard against it, right? Like we have 3 consigns, 2 Harbinger here, but I think that if you do that, the matchup does become good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a pretty sick game. Win or lose, that was really cool, really back and forth. So yeah, I enjoyed having to figure that one out. All
right, let's take a quick look at the list again. Obviously, like that last game, I feel like we lost not through any fault of yours. I was just slow mechanically clicking on things. But I think that I agree. Like, had we stuck the Harbinger, we probably would have won that one. So we can say 4-1 in our hearts. As far as the Bob Buttons thing, we can talk a little bit more about that. But basically, your philosophy, if you wouldn't mind restating it, is if something is unlikely to come up, it just takes a lot of mental energy and you shouldn't play around it. And by playing around something that's that many standard deviations out, in terms of likelihood of happening, that you are potentially giving up a whole lot of other wins in the process. Does that encapsulate your thinking on that?
It does, but I will say, I think I've come around to your idea that we shouldn't have cracked the clue, because I think that if we look at what other types of draws they could have, I don't think we made it more likely to win against that stuff by flipping Tamiyo, right? Where it's just like, I think we are with what we had in hand and keeping Tamio unflipped. We're probably winning against all those other possible outcomes as well. To just leave up consign there.
Yeah.
So in the end, I came around to, I like your decision to not flip Tamio and leave up the consign, where it's like, it is unlikely to lose the way we lost. However, we didn't make ourselves better against anything else. We just made ourselves worse against that like very specific combination of cards. And so, I like your decision in the end to play it a little bit safer there.
Okay. Well, I want to talk a little bit about the sideboard because one of the changes we made was I don't own any Baraglyphs anymore. They're like worth a fortune on MTGO, so I sold them so I could buy some other cards. And I just have never been that impressed with Baraglyph. And I was like, hey, why don't we just put a fourth Bowmaster in here? And when you introduced it, you didn't mention any of that. So I do want to go ahead and shout out Baraglyph and its presence in the current build of Pokemoki's list. How do you feel about having the extra sideboard Orcish Bowmaster? I'm trying to think if it came in any of the games.
I think we brought it in versus Infect, right?
Yeah.
And it depends on kind of how the meta evolves, right? Where it's like, I think if we see a rise of like blue-red or Grixis Delver, and we see a rise of like Jeskai and 4-color control to kind of combat the tempo strategies, then having 4 Bowmasters makes a lot of sense. I think Jeskai control in particular, with the way our main deck is configured, it's very tough, right? Because you see this column of 13 cards in the center here, and none of them are good versus Jeskai control. Yeah. So I think having the 4 Bowmasters within the 75 is an important tool if control starts to get a little more popular. I think if you feel that you either think that like, Red Prison or Eldrazi will remain popular, or if that's a thing in your local meta, then having the Baraglyph can help in those situations. It's not like the most incredible card versus those decks, but it's a card that will sometimes be hard for them to deal with. Other times they can answer it. So it's not like I don't have Baraglyph, it's the end for me, it's curtains. But
yeah.
I think that's an important part of a mid-rangey or flexible deck like this, is that as long as you have in your mind what you want these cards for and like what specific metagame you're targeting, a lot of things are justifiable. So I think 4 Bowmasters is totally fine. I think 3 and 1 Baraglyph is also totally fine.
Okay. Yeah, that's super helpful. Thanks for sharing that insight. You have any other observations about the games we played, or anything that you want to talk about before we sign off?
Not too much. I thought we played a lot of really good matches. We played against some creature-based combo decks. We played against some stompy decks. Infect sort of plays similar to Delver. I do think Delver has a little bit more game against BUG Beanstalk with like their lightning bolts, and they're not overly reliant on having any one creature live, right? But
yeah, and a lot of them are probably going to be packing Price of Progress, which is a problem for us.
It can be, with 3 basics, it is something you can be aware of. You have Daze and Hydroblast to help against Price of Progress as well. But you are right. I think one of the most important things against Delver is to just not fall behind in life total early, and make sure you manage the board early so that you can't get burned out. Because like if you're at like 10 to 12 when you stabilize, Price of Progress is not going to quite get there, which, is good for us.
Absolutely.
I guess the one... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, please continue.
I was going to say, I guess the one last thing I would point out is that it didn't really feel like we were missing the 4th Beanstalk at all. The Narset, either played just as well a role or was able to pitch to Force of Will. And I don't think we're anywhere near a metagame where you need all 4 Beanstalks. And I think that even in those sorts of metagames where there's a lot of mid-range and control, Narset's actually very good there as well. So for me, this is becoming more and more of a permanent change, where it's like I started by testing it out. I started testing it out a few weeks ago, and I've been liking it ever since.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you have like such a low creature count that your chances of whiffing are very small. Like I'm usually allergic to putting Narset in any decks that have creatures, because Like you wouldn't think she whiffs that much, but she will whiff like one out of every, like even if you're like not playing any creatures at all and you've got like 30, 40 lands or 40 spells in your deck, she does whiff sometimes, and you really feel it when she does. But because your creature count is so low, I mean, it's like 7 creatures, right?
Yeah.
What about Tamio number 3? Have you ever considered like going up on Tamio? Because like I often just play 4. I think it's an amazing card, and the redundant copies pitch to force, or you get in situations where you got a flipped one and you've got another one, or maybe you want a minus and flip the other one, and then do like get more Tamio triggers in a single turn. And she's just 1 mana. Have you ever considered or experimented with going up to 3 or even 4?
It's possible that with Psychic Frog not being a card you can play anymore, that like a 3rd Tamio as like the sort of card advantage card might be reasonable. The thing for me is that, well, one, it's legendary, so like extra copies I think fall off a little bit harder than just like a generic card, I think the other thing is that when you're under pressure from what the opponent is doing, it can be tough to find time to crack the clues. And so I generally prefer to have just like either fast card advantage or fast answers, right? Where it's like the cut has to come somewhere, and I kind of feel like the extra interaction is a little bit preferred for me. And then also Tamio is not great against the Ancient Tomb Stompy decks in the first place. It's just way too slow.
Yeah.
So I think you can play it. Obviously, I know you enjoy the card quite a lot. For me, I think the biggest thing for me is just it is legendary, and so extra copies fall off pretty hard. And then sometimes even the first copy is not necessarily something you want when you're under a lot of pressure and you need to quickly find an answer. When Frog was legal, we asked like, oh, why aren't you playing 4 Psychic Frogs? And it's kind of the same thing, right? Where it's like, this card's kind of slow. It takes a turn to get going, It's not like providing selection. It's just like a random card draw, etc. So it's just like, I want to make sure I have enough fast answers to what my opponent is doing, and not be flooded with slow answers, things that take time to get going. Tamio takes time to get going, and the metagame's very fast.
Yeah. Are you planning to keep this main deck consigned to memory if Karnforge becomes a lot less popular due to Vexing Bubble being banned?
I still like it quite a lot. It can counter like Animate Dead or an Atraxa trigger out of blue-black. It's a card you cut versus blue-black, but it's like good enough to play in game 1. Same thing with Oops All spells, where it's like you can counter the trigger from the 4 mana payoff spell. Eldrazi is still popular and I think quite good. This has application versus like Painter as well. And then even versus like 4-color control, you can stifle a Leyline Binding. Or let's say they like cast a spell and draw 2 cards off 2 Beanstalks, you can consign both Beanstalk draws. So it has its applications in enough of the metagame and is a blue card that I still like it.
Yeah. Awesome. Have you ever considered going up to 4? Because it is really good against Eldrazi. Like, and a lot of decks do play like 4 consigns inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like our games were against Eldrazi were interesting, right? Because it's like, I think we saw Harbinger both games, but both times it was a little too slow. And so maybe you could argue that consign is just better / more important. I will say we didn't really have to deal with Chalice too much, where it's like Consign can play through Chalice, but then it's a lot of mana, right? Where it's like if let's say they're casting a Thought Knot Seer, it's like you have to pay 2 mana to counter that, or if they're casting Sowing Mica Spawn, you have to pay 4 mana to completely handle Sowing Mica Spawn.
Yeah.
You with them can.
I mean, so Witherbloom, I would say one thing, the most surprising thing about playing this league, and last night I played this deck in paper. I didn't play your exact 75. I played a much simpler version without a lot of the one-ofs and a much simpler sideboard.
Sure.
But I was just stunned at how relevant Witherbloom continues to be, even though there are fewer X1 creatures. Like this card was just incredible throughout the league. I think I was skeptical. Like maybe it's a one of, but now I definitely see the merit in having two of. Like, are you pretty impressed? I mean, obviously you got a third one in the sideboard.
Yeah. I've been very impressed with Command just as a card in general against the metagame. As you say, there's a lot. There's still Nadu. Nadu plays X1s. If Delver comes back, they play X1s. It's great against all the Chalice decks. It's great against all the, decks playing, I don't know, like Carpet of Flowers, Up the Beanstalk, Orcish Bowmasters, things like that. And then it does give your deck some internal consistency, right, too, where it's like you're filling your graveyard for your delve spells. You're potentially milling over a spell that you'd want to rebuy later with Mystic Sanctuary. You're recurring your wastelands, so it's like it can act as like a sinkhole effect if your opponent isn't playing along with you. Yeah. So it just does so much. And as you mentioned, it kills flip Tamiyo as well, which is important because once the Tamiyo is flipped, most of our removal doesn't work on it. So it's good to have a few answers that do.
Yeah. Last question for you, and you've been very generous with your time, Pokemoki. Now Spellbomb's main. How much longer do you think we need to keep these in? Because it is good in some matchups. Like it'll be okay against Delver and stuff like that. Obviously, it was strong against Oops All Spells and Breakfast, which we faced. But I mean, do you think that we're going to be playing two main deck Nile Spellbombs indefinitely, or do you think that there will be a time when we can move those back to the board?
For me, it's still a card that I really like having access to, especially on Magic Online, where Oops All Spells is a lot more popular. I think, we kind of saw in our game 1 versus Oops where it's just like, just having a couple Force of Wills isn't enough. Like eventually they will be able to grind through that, either with like multiple threats or a threat plus Pact of Negation or Thought Seizes, So having like one or two Graveyard Hate cards to dig to game 1 versus Oops, I think has a very, very big impact on your overall match win percentage against them.
Yeah.
I think that, we're going to wait about a week and then we'll start seeing Blue-Black Reanimator come back into prominence again. I know it lost Psychic Frog, but Entomb is still legal. Entomb's very popular. As you said, it hits certain variants of Nadu. It hits certain, it hits Painter decks. You mentioned it's good versus Delver. I actually think it's really, really good versus Delver because, we've said the most important thing versus Delver is not falling behind too early. And so shrinking Dragonfish Channeler and delaying Murktide Region by a turn or two, those make big differences. Those add up a lot. And then also one important thing you can do versus like Dragon's Rage Channeler or Nethergoyf is that you can, cast your Bowmaster and then you deal 1 damage to their Nethergoyf. And then you crack the Spellbomb. And then the Nethergoyf is an 0-1 and it dies. So it lets you convert your, situational removal into actual removal against Delver. And that's also very important.
Yeah, it's a great observation. I mean, being able to kill Nethergoyfs or even Pyrogoyfs and stuff with the Bowmasters, thanks to Nile Spellbomb, is pretty cool. And it does guarantee that, like in a lot of matchups, you have 2 immediate slots you can clear to bring in better cards. That is one nice thing about having main deck Nile Spellbombs. Well, I really appreciate all your time and energy. Just a quick observation. We probably should have, like one heuristic that I've gotten from this league that hopefully the audience can take home with them as well. If your Oops opponent is still playing after you've resolved a Nile Spellbomb, there's a decent chance they actually have the Oracle in hand. Like, it didn't even occur to me that they could have the Oracle in hand because it seems so improbable when they have 0 selection, but they are going to get the Oracle in hand. Like after, 10 draws or something like that, they probably have like a 20% chance of having it in their hand. Maybe not 20. Yeah. We could check, but that would be a tell if your Oops opponent doesn't concede to like Nile Spellbomb or Grafdigger's Cage. When you're a blue deck and you probably have a lot of other interaction too, that might be a signal that you do need to play carefully around them having hard cast Thassa out of hand.
Yeah, I think that was a good takeaway. And I think if we can generalize that lesson too, it's like if you have 2 decisions and one is a little bit better against an improbable thing happening, but it doesn't hurt you against the rest of what your opponent could be doing, then it makes sense to also play around that unlikely occurrence.
Yeah.
Yeah, that comes up a lot sometimes.
Yeah, awesome. So I'm thrilled we have at least 2 really good takeaways. Everybody who's stayed this long, be sure to go over to the YouTube search bar, search for Pokemoki, Pokemoki. I'll have a link to his channel in the description below, and check out some of the leagues that he plays, because I've learned a tremendous amount from this guy over the past couple years. And Pokey, I just want to thank you again for everything you're doing to brew and innovate and refine. Like, you don't just walk away from your brews like, oh, that was a cool brew. No, you put in the time to refine them and fine tune them. And you're not afraid to come on the Be Excellent channel and like have me ask like kind of like hard questions and things like that. And you've just been very calm and like rationally explained all your reasoning. And that is incredibly valuable to me. And I imagine it's valuable to everybody else. So I just want to compliment you for being patient with my many questions.
Oh, well, thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed going through this league with you. I enjoy your channel a lot, and I think you have a good mindset, right? Where it's like, be excellent. We're trying to improve. We're trying to, not necessarily win every single round, because Magic has variance. You don't want to get salty about these sorts of things. It's important to look what we did right, look what we could have improved on. It would have been easy to walk away from that oops match and just say like, our opponent got so lucky, blah, blah, blah. But, I think that us having a level head about it and discussing it, I learned something. I definitely walked away saying that, okay, I think I could have improved my play in that matchup as well. So this was really enjoyable.
Awesome, man. Well, everybody tuning in, until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.